Hey, everybody. Now, as you already know, I mean, maybe this is the first time you're hearing this, but it's unlikely that it is. SDPN is proud to once again be a part of the 5K fundraiser this June in support of the Get Real movement and Rainbow Railroad. We would love your support. And yesterday, we did our video shoot for our 5K. We do it on the ice. And I just want to say this, Justin, our social media guy, did the math, and it's 35 laps to do 5K around a hockey rink.
Mm-hmm. That's so many laps.
That's a lot of laps. Mm-hmm. So what do we do instead, Jesse Blake?
We had a series of competitions where you can knock laps off of your 35, depending on what place in the competition you come in. So you're going to have to watch the video to find out who won.
There are some surprise winners and surprise losers. Anyway,
Steve won the being really soft and quiet competition.
You're not going to believe which one of us almost really hurt themselves.
We will have that video out, I don't know, sometime next week, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know when that's coming out. But in the meantime, click the link in the description because that helps us fundraise. So if you can help us with that, that'd be great. Okay, love you all. Let's start the show.
SDPN, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go! Darren Raddysh, you are a Toronto Maple Leaf.
We're in a brave new world.
We are.
Where
trades?
Okay.
Trades?
No, here's the thing. It's not just trades. Kyle Dubas in particular loved a 5 o'clock news dump.
Oh.
Loved it, and I'm convinced he did it on purpose.
And I'm thrilled with this new administration for that reason alone.
I think it's 100% Keith Pelly.
Yeah?
He's trying to make noise in the market, and I know he knows media very well by working under him in media.
Yeah.
That he's probably...
Could it be his time at TSN and Sportsnet?
He's probably, definitely, maybe 100% doing this on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm very much into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into it.
We're recording at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And that's great.
It does make my mornings bloody chaos, but it's a lot of fun.
Well, let me ask you this before we get into what happened, just before. What was the last time? When was the last time a Maple Leafs defenseman had double-digit power play goals like Darren Raddysh did?
Canadian Leafs defenseman, any-handedness?
Any-handedness.
Brian McCabe.
Yes. When and how many?
05, 06, 11.
11 is correct.
What?
Wow.
06, 07, Steve Dangle. Well done. Very impressed.
Great.
Very impressed.
Let's go.
Darren Raddysh became a Toronto Maple Leaf officially this morning, is released on Twitter, and the insiders had it first too. The Leafs will send a 2026, that's this year's 5th round pick, to Tampa. They had
133rd overall.
Yes, and it's
very important.
It is Toronto's 5th round pick for the rights to Darren Raddysh. Obviously, they signed him. It was rumored for a long time. I think Dregs was on it saying that they coveted Darren Raddysh, but they got the sign and trade done, and I think that that's really interesting. Now they have signed him to an 8-year deal worth $68 million. It's roughly $8.5 million a season. And that is a very interesting amount of money because, people were speculating this is a guy, if he hit open market, was going to get over 10. Mm-hmm. And he had a breakout season with the Tampa Bay Lightning, obviously last year, getting 70 points, 22 goals. And, he did that on, a formidable regular season team. Specifically, Kucherov had an unbelievable and
he had more points than all but 3 Tampa players. One of them won MVP. One of them was an American Olympian. One was a Canadian Olympian.
So yeah,
it's a good list.
Pretty stacked team.
Yeah.
The funny thing to look is when you're looking at his stats and you see 22 goals last season, and then you go to his career stats and he has 35 goals in his entire career.
Career high was 6.
Yeah.
Heading into the
unbelievable season.
So this deal is not without its risks, but let's start with the good stuff. The good stuff is Darren Raddysh is going to be paid like a second line right shot defenseman. By the way, yes, he does shoot right. He shoots right.
Best offensive defenseman, right-handed since blank. I know my answer.
Well, was McCabe a lefty?
Nope. Yes, he was.
It couldn't be Dion.
Lefty.
Oh, he was a lefty. Boria?
I think.
Maybe is Kenny Johnson a lefty? I don't know. Like I
my answer is Pavel Kubina.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's how far back.
That's a good one. That's still a good one. Still 20 years. So he's going to be paid because people are going to take this the wrong way. He's paid like a second line right-handed shot defenseman or a 1A. The actual number one guys, the guys who are truly number one on any team.
You're talking Makar, Werenski, yeah.
Those contracts are going to be in the $17 to $20 million. So that's,
at least double digit.
8.5 million. I mean, we'll get to him, but Bo Byram's asking for over 10, right? And I know he's younger, but that's all I'm going to say is that as much as there is quote unquote risk with the long-term part of this deal, part of what brings the AAV down is the fact that there's the eight year. You can still do that, by the way, those 8-year contracts until September 15th of this season or of this year. And I think the other thing he brings is A, you got the puck moving. B, you've got 100-mile-an-hour plus shot sometimes from the point, which
he's got a cannon.
They've not had that in a long, long time, or 100-kilometer-an-hour or whatever. What shoots right?
It's mild.
It's fast. Okay, yeah. And it's only 8% of the cap, and that's this season. That's the highest it'll ever be.
Right, and it's going to keep going down. This deal is cheaper based on percentage of the cap than Morgan Riley's $7.5 million cap hit when he signed it.
Right.
So,
and they always the teams internally look at it as a cap percentage thing. The other thing is
you have to.
Is that Darren Raddish's underlying numbers were good for a long time. Mm-hmm. And that's why Tampa gave him a shot. Now, one thing that people are pointing out, and I think they're right to point this out, Jesse and Steve, is that when Julien BriseBois moves on from a player and doesn't want to pay a player, I think the last offer to him was just over $6 million.
Ooh.
Does that give you a little bit of pause? Because I you don't have to be a Tampa Bay Lightning fan to realize that Julien BriseBois is one of the best general managers in the league. Or do they have potentially Hedman back? They've got younger guys taking steps forward, and they don't necessarily need to spend the kind of money the Leafs did.
It gives me some pause because the Boston Bruins are happy to just pull the pin on the grenade and go, here you go, have fun. Like, you look at, I'm so suspicious of the Bruins. You look at how Carlo's done, right? It's not just the return. Everyone focuses on the return. Let's focus on he has not been a good Leaf, right? That's the key thing. What was Ottawa's Achilles heel this year?
Goaltending.
Goaltending.
Yeah.
Goaltending.
Yeah. Injuries.
And so they took this Vezina nominated, I think Vezina winning goalie, and they traded him in division. Have you lost your mind?
Yeah.
And Bruins are like, yeah, we're really stupid. Wink. And just yard sailed a team season, basically.
My answer would have been injuries for Ottawa.
Ottawa?
Yeah, but you're a bit of an apologist.
Oh, they did have a lot of
You're a bit of an...
They got down to their AHL defense core is what they had to play by the end of the season.
Yeah.
And then Allmark turned around his season by the end of it. And he was not the reason they lost in the Carolina Hurricanes.
No, I know.
This isn't a conversation to litigate the Ottawa Senators season, so I want to move past it.
No, I think we should do that because
Jesse's just pandering to a new market. He's found his next pandering market.
No,
That's what's
the
happening.
Habitat for life. Let's go.
Lane Hudson?
Lane Hudson.
Yeah.
Does Raddysh make more or less than Lane Hudson right now?
I think he
find
makes
Slightly less.
slightly less.
I think it's
but people
slightly-
are making that comparison. I'm like, yo, Lane Hudson, first off, Lane Hudson should have never signed that contract, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, Lane Hudson was a restricted free agent.
Yeah.
A little different.
I mean, I don't have a justification for that. Like, damn, good for them. But as for Raddysh, like 8.5, if you told me last week, regardless of the team he signed with, Darren Raddysh is going to sign for $8.5 million as a free agent, I'd be like, damn, I hope the Leafs get him. Like at $8.5 million, the numbers that were out there were terrifying, right? Because his career high, he had a couple good seasons before this one. People kind of forget that. Like, yeah, it was 6 goals, but it was 33 and 37 points. That's very good, especially as a right-handed defenseman. I would expect that guy to go to market and get a ton of money, maybe not 8.5. Then he goes up and what was it, 22 goals and 70 points? Spend the money. The Leafs have lost for a very long time. Okay, they've had some good regular seasons, but they haven't made it to the third round for a very long time. The last time they made it to the third round, their clear advantage they had over nearly everybody else was they could spend more money than you. Spend the money. I've kind of been team spend the money for at least a few weeks now. Just looking around the league and seeing how they have cap space. And I'm like, just go out and do it. It takes time and a little bit of luck and a lot of skill to draft well. It takes time and a little bit of luck to trade well. Just spend the money.
Well, I have to say, the thing that really opened my eyes was Jesse pulling up that chart of how the Canes and the Vegas Golden Knights have put together their teams, and it was trades. I mean, there was some good draft picks for the Canes, for sure.
A couple free agency signings.
But even if you want to go back further than that.
You have to have a mix.
You look at the way Tampa built their team, that some of them were great signings, like, Yanni Gourde out of nowhere and whatever, but stealing Brandon Hagel from the Chicago Blackhawks. But, you look at Florida, Matthew Tkachuk trade, Gus Forsling waivers pickup. They had Barkov. Other than him, there's not a lot of draft picks from Florida in the Florida lineup. And I think if you're going to win more trades than you lose, and listen, we don't know how this is going to work out. We hope it's going to be great. Sure feels good this morning. I think that's a really interesting start. And what the Leafs were, and we talked about this under Treliving, what Pelly's biggest mistake last season was not recognizing he had a general manager in freeze mode. A general manager paralyzed by the decisions that he had to make. What I like about what's come in here, and CJ kind of referenced this yesterday, CJ and Julian, by the way, recorded in person yesterday. Always great to have them in. Is that you don't necessarily have the same adherence, loyalty to what has already got you here, and you shouldn't, because the Leafs were terrible last year, but also to the players involved, right? This is now my chance, if I'm John Chayka and Matt Sundin, to remake this team in my image and what I want to see. And so, I couldn't trade Matthew Knies because that's a part of our process, which was such a huge part of what the Toronto Maple Leafs were before. We couldn't move off Marner. We couldn't move off Nylander, right? After 2021 or 2022, because there's been such a shakeup in the front office, they are looking at this much differently, clearly. And it's nice to see them go out and be aggressive on somebody. This is Toronto Maple Leafs.
It's super exciting. I sort of said this last episode. I'm like, listen, as a Leafs fan, this was in reference to Jim Hiller getting hired. I was like, as a Leafs fan, I'm a little terrified. As a content creator, this is Christmas. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Every group chat I'm in is a buzz. If the goal here was to cause a racket in the fan base, get us thinking, get us talking a different way, get us debating, it's working. That is a little bit of the game, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of the game. Yeah. Now, one thing I wanted to briefly touch on, you mentioned your timeline is just full of Lightning fans who are upset about this.
There are some Lightning fans that are mad because he was so great for them.
He was very good. I loved him in the Habs Lightning series.
Let's talk a little bit about that, because you got a real close-up look at him in the playoffs, and that's what I want to focus on. It's great that he did great in the regular season, but the playoffs have been the Achilles heel for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and if we want to get back and actually be successful, what happens?
He had a disappointing series in terms of offensive production. I think he only had a goal and an assist in those 7 games, but he just kept firing the shot, and he wasn't the only Lightning player who couldn't bloody score on Dobish. And when some things went away for Tampa, like their power play, I thought most of their offensive problems ran through Nikita Kucherov,
right?
Or rather didn't. And that was part of the reason I was like, man, Mike Matheson's actually really underrated, because I thought he was stapled to him a lot. He's not going to take any crap. I don't know if he's a fighter. I don't know if he's a big hitter, but the Lightning have a bunch of guys who just aren't going to take shit, right? And they're going to get into a lot of scrums, and they're going to stand up for themselves.
Will Raddysh take shit?
No, he's not gonna.
So he's kind of mean?
Yeah.
I need kind of mean.
Yeah.
I don't need dumbass penalty mean.
Yes, that's all you need is if someone pushes you, are you going to push them back, for God's sake?
Yeah.
Right? Which wasn't always a given on last year's Leafs roster. So he'll at least do that. Bomb of a shot. Real old school in that regard.
We need that bad.
Yeah,
I was talking to somebody this morning.
At least the option of it.
That having him and Matthews on the same power play unit will open up Matthews' shot, because there'll be 2 threats.
Well, I think it's very interesting. Well, because what was the stat going around? Riley's the most amount of power play goals Riley ever had in a season was 3. I couldn't believe
And he had over 20 goals.
he had 20 goals.
Yeah.
How was that possible?
He
Right?
was a rush scorer, I think.
So now you got Willie probably on the left. You got Matthews probably on the right, or switch them. Who gives a damn? And you got Raddysh at the point.
Who can move a puck too?
You got Tavares net front or like side of the net or bumper. You got Knies side of the net or bumper if he doesn't move, right? Because who knows? He could get traded tomorrow.
I think Tavares will be front of the net, and then
Tavares will be there.
and then there'll be a bumper up high. I don't know if it's going to be nice though.
I have no idea, right? All of a sudden you have a lot of options there. Riley, bless him, like that shot was just not an option. It wasn't an option.
Well, and that's how you could neutralize the Leafs' power play: is let Riley have the puck.
It wasn't a threat.
Let him have it.
It was not
Cover the other guys.
Yeah, and where's he going to do? Or what's he going to do? He's going to throw
Fire
it
a
at
muffin.
your shins or send it to the perimeter, right? You need someone back there to be an offensive option. And I think it's very interesting that they go out and they get Jim Hiller and everyone's like, well, the power play. Look how he does in the power play. And the first thing they do is they go out and they get a really aggressive, hard shooting offensive defenseman, right? So I like it. Spend the damn money. And if you're the Lightning, why trade him in division? He was
Probably
my
gonna sign
guess
here
is he
anyway.
was only going here, and the Lightning got something for him.
Jesse, given the discussion, especially since the Panthers series between the Leafs and Panthers, where it became clear that nobody wanted to play in Toronto, are you surprised that somebody actually wants to play here?
No, because I don't think that's real at all. And Darren Raddysh went through a lot this year. His father passed away, and he's from Toronto. So it's great to see a guy who wants to be close to family at this stage of his career. And he has the assurance that now for the rest of his career, he's going to be a Toronto Maple Leaf and be close to home, which I think is awesome. And I think very transparently now that this deal is done with Toronto, he was always going to sign with them in free agency. And it's smart by Julien Brisebois to get something instead of nothing.
Yeah.
If you knew this was going to happen on July 1st as soon as the clock ticked over to when you can sign it, because there's no tampering that happens before that.
No.
Nobody ever talks. You might as well get something for that asset. So I think good job by Tampa to do that.
Remember when Dubas refused to get something?
Yes. Just out of stubbornness.
Yeah.
And speaking of other GMs, like this trade is on the surface of when it happened. I'm like, oh, thumbs up. It's good, because we spent 2 years with a GM who sat on his butt and did nothing. And the doing nothing resulted in the Leafs getting the first overall pick, which is not where they want to be. They want to be in the playoffs. So I'm just happy that Chayka's here doing something, and he's making bold moves, which is good. You want to see that. And I don't mind at all if your right side to start the season is Raddysh, Tanev, Carlo. If Carlo's down on the third pair, that's perfectly fine. I think that's a better role for him at this stage, now that we know kind of what he is since he came over from Boston. And then if your left side is probably McCabe and then blank in that Riley trade, and then you have OEL there.
Well,
on the third
Andre.
page.
Emil Andre.
Emil Andre.
An option on both sides.
Sure. Emil Andre, like ideally for me, Emil Andre is kind of your 6'7" defenseman.
You think
and you're
so?
figuring something out, because you're going to do something with Riley there, right?
You are.
So are you running McCabe, OEL, Andre? I don't know. I think you can get a little better than that, and it seems like Chayka's doing everything he can to make it as good as possible.
Today in the video I shot this morning, I was trying to figure out their D-cord the way it's currently designed, and I wasn't able to do it.
No,
I don't think they're done.
And like you're one injury away from, we got to pull Emil Andre out of the lineup so he gets an injury, and then you're stuck with what,
Well, and like, let's say you go Raddysh, McCabe. Well, do you go OEL, Tanev? Well, that's really old. And also they did play together this year and it wasn't very good. And so do you do Raddysh with OEL? I don't think that makes sense.
It's not done.
No,
at all.
No, it's not close.
And that's good, because that means Chayka's going to do more with this roster. And last year's roster, it had its limitations. And the way Craig Berube coached and the way the roster was constructed, it needed otherworldly goaltending over the last couple of years to actually be in contention. And hopefully now, with a guy like this on the power play, you can fight through those things.
Yep.
To where you're just overall good offensively, whether it's on special teams, whether it's at 5-on-5, and you have a threat in different ways, and you don't just have to win through great goaltending.
You went out and you got the most coveted defenseman for this upcoming free agency, and you have the first overall pick.
It's pretty cool.
That's
It's
great.
nice.
And he
It's
happens
nice,
to
man.
shoot right.
And he shoots right.
Yeah.
And,
Like, the bar for right-handed defensemen in this market is unbelievably low. Like, when I say Pavel Kubina, best offensive right-handed defenseman they've had, name a better one. We've played this game a few times. Name a better one.
Yeah.
Forget offensive. Forget I even said that. Name a better one. Is it Tanev?
he's not offensive.
Is it Luke Shen 1 or 2.0?
Nope.
Is it Michael Koska? Is it Igor Ozhiganov? Is it Nikita Zaitsev? It's a low bar, man. Catastrophically low.
Absolutely.
I'm into getting this player.
Everybody's talking about Darren Raddish's really hard shot, so I went on NHL Edge and I pulled up some data, and I want to give you this one.
Oh, that makes me really
From 145 kilometers per hour to 161 kilometers per hour, Darren Raddysh is first place with the amount of shots in that range last season. He had 96 shots in that range last season. The next closest
Yeah.
was Evan Bouchard with 51. So that is the gap between how hard Darren Raddysh is shooting consistently and the next closest player in the NHL. So 96 times Darren Raddysh shot it in that shot range, which is the second highest. We go from there. It's just you're setting guys who are you're shooting guys who are shooting above 161 kilometers per hour. So Darren Raddysh had 96 instances, then Bouchard at 51, Tage Thompson at 44, Erik Carlson at 40, and then we trail off there with a bunch of guys in the 30.
Now,
So he just
And then
cranks the thing.
the hardest
Holy.
shots last season, I'll give you those numbers because they're fun. Tyler Klevin had the hardest shot last season, 166 kilometers per hour. Darren Raddysh, very close, 161 kilometers per hour.
BetMGM is an official sports betting partner of the National Hockey League and has everything you need for action on and off the ice. And funnily enough, they've already got their props ready and their futures ready for next year in the NHL. So just throwing that out there. They wanted to highlight that for you. We are going to get into some of those next week. But for now, considering that I have done a live stream and Jesse's done a live stream for a particular popular soccer tournament that Steve attended yesterday, which we'll talk about later in the show. Jesse, we got a Canada-Switzerland game to talk about because the winner of this game wins the division.
Not the winner of this game, and that's very important because yesterday on the stream,
dumb
I got
idiot
to
Adam.
witness the first ever Canada win at the World Cup.
Amazing.
And everybody's like, you have to come back for next Wednesday. It's going to be good luck. And I said, no, I don't. Because Adam streamed game number 1 of this tourney where it was a draw. And a draw against Switzerland next Wednesday gets Canada the number 1 spot.
It does?
So all Canada needs to do, because they're going to win the goal differential with a draw against Switzerland, all they need to do is draw that game, and they are first place in their group and into the knockout stage as a first place team.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, both Switzerland and Canada have a win and a draw, but Canada's win was bigger.
Exactly. They're winning on goal differential, and a draw would maintain the goal differential.
That's great.
The point where they are right now. So next Wednesday at 3:00, Canada, do they do it?
Oh, they do it.
Oh, yeah.
They do it.
Okay.
They do it.
Because they
Just
don't,
a draw.
correct me if I'm wrong, they don't necessarily need to win the division. They just need to finish second.
Yeah.
order to
Second
do it.
or even third, because 8 third place teams advance to the knockout stage. They're pretty much locked into the knockout stage right now.
Yeah.
But I don't want that.
No,
No, I want them to
Everyone's
win.
like, oh, if
I wanna
they're
win.
basically in now. No, I don't want to go in as the second or third place team.
Nope.
Go in as a group winner and prove to the world that we are a serious soccer nation. Like, go do something here that's really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm not settling for this.
What are the odds? What do we got?
We have the odds here. 2.4 times your money to bet on Switzerland to win. 3.1 times your money for a draw, and Canada is 3-1.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
so
really
Switzerland,
like a draw there.
favorites to win this match is how the odds are looking at this.
Wow.
I'm surprised a draw is the least likely.
Yeah.
According to, I'd go draw.
You
Tie.
take it, yeah.
I'll say tie. It says tie right there. I don't have to pretend to talk about footy. Yeah, let's go Ty.
I've been saying pitch on the
On the pitch? Yeah. I like that.
Nil.
Well, whatever way you want to go, BetMGM app has improved its lineup, including instant withdrawals and data insights. Download the BetMGM app and enjoy sports like never before. BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 19 plus to wager. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you have any questions or concerns about your gambling or somebody close to you, please contact Connects Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor free of charge. BetMGM operates pursuant to an operating agreement with iGaming Ontario. Can I throw something out to you guys?
Hopefully not as fast as that, but yeah.
So there's a tweet going around, and if you do a little research, you can see why. It's Darren Raddysh in 2014 wishing Connor McDavid a happy birthday.
They were OHL teammates.
And apparently are very good friends to this day.
Interesting.
Now, listen, if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs,
yes,
I don't think you're going, we're going to be a Stanley Cup contender next year. You want to be in the playoffs. You want to be in the picture. You want to be in the fight. But are we like, oh, yeah, they're Dallas level. Oh, yeah, they're Carolina level. Oh, yeah, the Florida Panthers are coming back. Do we think they're going to be that level? Right. This is a build back to, I think, this coming year, you got to get back in the playoffs. The next year, you got to be a cup contender, keep Matthews, that sort of thing. The other thing that the Leafs and any other team that thinks they might have a shot at Connor McDavid should he become available, despite what Bob Stauffer said about the extension coming next summer, you have to at least think about and consider creating a team that Connor McDavid might want to hang out at. You know? Man, you know what? I might go there. That seems cool. They might win. You can't have. It's like when LeBron became a free agent, when Giannis was potentially going to become a free agent and then never did. You always still have to at least consider that the best player in the world might become available, and you might want to be ready for that.
Leave the door open and crack.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to happen.
So Raddysh was part of an unbelievably stacked Erie Otters team in 16-17 that actually didn't have McDavid on it.
They won, didn't they?
They won. Alex DeBrincat was on that team. Anthony Cirelli was on that team. Eric Cernak was on that team. Dylan Strome was on that team.
So they're all coming to Toronto too?
All of them.
Okay, great.
Every single one of them.
All right. Now, okay, let me ask you this.
Especially the one that plays for your favorite team.
Toronto fans have, and outside fans of our age group, love the fact that Toronto fans have this, which is long-term contract PTSD. And we didn't used to have it, but really, like, you know, when the Kabina and I remember Hal Gill being signed and stuff like that, those were like 3 and 4 year deals, no big deal.
They were short.
But I remember, and this is an infamous quote if you're a Leaf fan of my vintage at 38, when Dave Nonis brought in David Clarkson. And they said, well, hey, 7 years is a long time. And he said, I don't care about the last 3 years of that deal. And in a vacuum.
Not something I would admit publicly.
In a vacuum, I actually completely understand that.
Yes. Still don't say it.
The problem became for Toronto Maple Leafs fans and management the first 4 years of that deal, which were not great.
All of them.
And David Clarkson, great person. Love David Clarkson. But it just did not work here.
Stop doing that.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, that's irrelevant.
Oh. That deal stunk. And ever since, every long-term deal, people go, and I even saw this with Tavares, I remember. We were pumped. Oh, yeah. But people were like, well, that contract could be real bad in year 6 and 7. And by the way, it turned out to be pretty good. People were like, yeah, slightly overpaid. And now look at him, he's well underpaid again. Yes. With this one, I think it's fair to apply that sentiment to this contract. I genuinely could care less about anything beyond the next 24 months because until Austin Matthews is signed to a longer extension, which he can't sign until next summer anyway, I don't really care.
Well, and
because here's what you can do with a bunch of cap space, which the NHL used to not have.
Right.
You can move contracts now.
Yeah.
Even bad ones.
I wonder if it's front loaded.
I don't know. We haven't seen those deals yet. What do you guys think about that? Are you like, people are like, oh, this contract's going to age like milk. Do you care?
Spend the money.
Jesse, what do you think?
No, I think it's proven that, like, who cares about the last couple of years of these deals? Because eventually your franchise is going to be in a different spot to where you're moving out guys at trade deadlines because you're no longer a contender, or you need to keep him around because you are a contender, or he's injured and he goes on LTIR. I don't think anybody's thinking beyond the next couple seasons with a contract like this.
Nope.
And, like, if you're worried about his play falling off, like, I wouldn't be too concerned about that. His numbers in Tampa, like, they weren't what they were last year at any other point in his career, but he was given the opportunity this season in Tampa. He played more minutes than he'd ever played. He took 100 more shots than he had ever taken.
Wow.
And he had the opportunity this season in Tampa to show who he was, and he developed this great shot, and now he is that player currently. So you're just hoping that over the next couple of seasons, he just continues to build on that or just stay where he is.
His underlines were always, like the last couple of years, strong, right?
And no Hedman last year, which
Yeah.
I guess is, what
Part of the reason.
provided the
Yeah.
opportunity.
But the Leafs will give him the same opportunity, right?
If you look at
Oh,
the
yeah.
previous time on ice that he played, it was 10 minutes, though the 4-game 22 seasons, that doesn't really count. But in 82 games, he played 19 in 23-24, 17 minutes in 24-25. And then last year, he became a 22-minute-a-night guy, took 212 shots. This is the number I was referencing. And then the year before, he had 108 shots. So it's just proving like, hey, if you give him the chance to throw pucks on net, his shooting percentage jumps 5% because that really hard shot, he found something on the power play. And I don't know, I think you take a chance here on a team that needs to be in contention this season through direction of ownership, and just the fan base doesn't want to sit through a rebuild. And you go try and you got the best defenseman available, and now you try and see if he can continue this. I think it's a good risk.
Yeah.
At that price, at that number, who cares about the years?
Yeah, and I like, the thing that we already mentioned with, like, he opens up every other option, right? Matthews, Willie, get cookies, man.
Well, can I also say what I love? I love that it pushes some of these guys down. And I don't know if you follow DTSB_98 on Twitter, but he's actually really good with stats.
Oh yeah, I was like, isn't that the Durham School Board?
No, that's not the Durham.
Yeah.
No, nor even the Durham Catholic School Board.
No.
DSB?
DTSB_98. His name's Steven, with a PH though, so he spells it incorrectly. Anyway, what I like about this is it pushes people down. If, let's say, Brandon Carlo, who I think will get traded, and we've heard might get traded, probably going to get traded. If he doesn't, and he's playing with OEL on the third pair or Emile Andre on the third pair, the Leafs' most common third pair, according to DTSB, was Benoit Stetcher or Benoit Myers last year, which had,
My God.
so Benoit Stetcher had a 30.4.01 expected goals percentage, which is, I don't know if you know this, bad.
Wow.
And
He
Benoit
looked so good for a bit too.
that was the Benoit Stetcher. The Benoit Myers was 38.24. So they didn't just lose those minutes, they got cooked in those minutes.
They got barbecued.
So if you can have, like, if Emile Andre's in your top 4 because you want to put him with Tanev or whatever, and you have OEL who can move a puck,
That's kind of fun.
and Tanev who's big, because you can put OEL back on the left side. I know he can play both, but that gives you,
I thought he was much better on the left.
with Raddysh on the first pair, Andre on the second pair, OEL on the third pair, that gives you at least a puck mover on each. And if they can make a move to upgrade a guy like Carlo, then great, go ahead and do it. It seems like, though, we had entire defense pairs last year that just could not move a puck.
Yeah.
And it seems like now we do.
I don't know what his numbers were exactly. I feel like McCabe can move it.
He can, well, I mean, there's been times with injuries where he's had to run the power play,
Oh yeah.
which is always kind of fun, but he's not bad. It's not bad.
Whenever I saw him out there, especially late in the season, I'm like, this is the game I'm watching.
God bless him.
Yep. It had nothing to do with him.
I love Jake McCabe.
Me too.
I've man crush on him. The one thing I will say though, guys, the way that the defense looks is old.
Uh-huh.
And so, where I feel like they still have work to do is they got to get younger. You saw what happened when, with Tanev in the lineup, the Leafs are phenomenal. And they were great last year with him in the lineup. He played 10 games. And McCabe's a year older. OEL's going to be 36 this season. You've got to get some youth in there. And it can't just be Emile Andre. And Darren Raddysh is 30. You've got to get other guys. And maybe some of that comes from the draft this year. Maybe some of that comes from the AHL. But I think they've got another move to make, and I think it means Carlo. And I think you've got
they got a lot more than that, bud.
Yeah, I'm just talking on the defense.
Yeah, they don't got a guy signed.
Yep. No, I said what I said.
They don't have a guy signed to a contract because Emile Andre is still just an RFA under control who's under the age of 29.
That's rough.
Yeah,
that's not great.
But Riley's gonna move. I imagine Carlo's going to move, although he's one of the young ones.
Raddysh is 30, Morgan's 32, McCabe's 32, Tanev is 36, OEL's 34, Carlos 29, Myers is 29, Stetcher probably won't be back.
Could you trade
Andre's
Philip Myers?
24.
I think
He does shoot right.
you could, Steve, if you can't trade him, then you send him to the Marlies.
No, I know.
And somebody claims him. Here's the thing, or not. With Morgan, the thing about adding Darren Raddysh at 8.5 is that Morgan's money is going to come off the books. Now, we don't know what that deal looks like. Are we taking money back? It's looking like Kotkaniemi, for instance, is going to get bought out in Carolina. But, so the Leafs are going to have, when people look at this, they've only got X amount of dollars left, and I still think it's over $20 million. That doesn't include Max Domi potentially being on LTIR at almost $4 million.
They're fine.
But you don't get access to that unless he never plays.
Unless he never plays.
Yeah, which I don't think is what they're aiming for.
It's half, right? It's half if he might play.
No, well, the season-ending IR is where it would be the old system, like the Mark Stone system, where it's like you put it on, you get that full cap space.
But do you get half while he's out?
I don't know what the exact percentage is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I felt like it was anyway. Long story short, I think the move next is going to be to get even younger on defense, to get another guy Emile Andre's age, or even a 27-year-old, like somebody. So
someone with number that starts with 2.
The other thing is too, like, and this is why I have so many concerns about the John Tavares thing at second line center is when some of these older guys get to the playoffs, they're gassed.
Right.
And injuries are going to happen because they're older. Like, I think you started the place, I think is correct. Like, you relied on Chris Tanev so heavily, and he's old, and because he's that age and you were so dependent on him that you have a season where he's just not around. And that can't be your plan going into every year. We have a bunch of old defensemen because something's going to fall apart there.
The other thing about not having depth is I forget how you would find this stat. I think it's on NHL.com, but the number of hits absorbed. Tanev led not just the Leafs, but the league. Because everyone's like, well, let's just hammer that guy.
I think they call it hits taken.
Hits taken. Yeah. So I think the Sens got to him, and then the Panthers were just like, that asshole.
Yeah.
And the Leafs won the first 2 games of that series. They faded through game 3. We've been through this 100 times, but it adds up.
What about
the same thing
pressure?
happened to like Lane Hudson in that series where they target him, they're going after him, they hit it really affected his game, and like he's affected for like the other end of the curve where he's so young and they're targeting. So it's a thing you got to think about because these teams are very smart. They can beat you with physical size and just hitting guys.
It's the series are long, man.
What about this too throughout the regular season? I'm talking about just harm reduction in terms of miles on body. Like, Tanev and McCabe are great when they can shut down teams together. They're excellent.
Yeah.
McCabe's 34, and he's been a workhorse. However, we have to pay attention to that. And Tanev's going to be, I think, 37.
32 McCabe is.
Oh, McCabe's 32. Okay, so that's not so bad. But I still,
that's younger than I thought.
But those are hard miles.
Yeah.
And he's been a workhorse and not missed a lot of time, whatever. I want to see how they bring in somebody who can reduce those guys' minutes. Because it can't just be with Berube. It was like, well, if we got to shut him down, those are the 2 guys. And they might be out there for like 3 minutes to end a game. You can't do that anymore.
They do have a number of options on the Marlies. Huh?
Is that why a Matthew Knies trade makes a lot of sense to bring in a guy who's more of a 1 or 2 slot on the left side?
You really got to blow my socks off with
I think
trade. I'm starting to make peace with the fact it's obviously happening.
Yeah.
I think he's where you rebuild your prospect system. Like, and I don't mean it in this. I don't. No. Hold on.
That's annoying.
What it's going to be is guys that are basically NHL ready.
You need to take one of those words out.
NHL?
Basically, yeah.
Oh, okay. NHL ready.
Yeah.
It's Matthew Knies. Fuck your basically.
Yeah. No, but that includes a roster player. That includes a roster. So here's what I think with Matthew Knies, because CJ talked about it yesterday, Jesse, you were here for the recording. He thinks it'll be roster player, like good roster player, very good prospect.
Yeah.
First round pick. And there are rumors that St. Louis is in on this. We know Montreal's re-engaged. We know Buffalo's re-engaged. St. Louis has the 11th overall pick. So that's interesting. People were throwing out like, wow, Colton Parayko. I'm like, man, I'll take Philip Broberg though. And I'll talk to you about that.
That's interesting.
And then I think what they need to do with Knies, because I don't see one of these available in the free agent market unless I'm wrong, is they got to find that second line center, some youth thing, which is why Chicago's interesting because Frindell's name's out there. And I don't think people realize how good that kid could be.
I think the Blackhawks are completely out of their mind.
So take advantage of that.
Yeah. Like,
Man,
that's one of the, like,
they've been out of their mind for 6 years.
I
Let's
know.
go.
It's a free, if he's available, free space. Go out and get that guy. But I would be shocked.
Me too. But apparently he's out there.
Was that legit, or was that fans going, what about this?
Because they have Bedard and Lazar. Or Nazar, excuse me, not Lazar. Different player. Very different player.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds like a good problem to me. If I'm Kyle Davidson, I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much young talent.
And they need
my lobster.
I don't need to move on.
Too buttery.
Well, this is the thing. They need guys like Knies.
I don't know.
And what I like is it's not a trade within division. If the Leafs trade this, if they do consummate this trade with the Montreal Canadiens, it's been long rumored, it will rebuild the younger end of this franchise. It has to.
It's even if Knies isn't a great ad for Montreal, it's still every time you play them, he's going to try to kill one of your players and probably do it and also score.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm not enthusiastic about a Knies trade anywhere. I'm especially unenthusiastic about it in division. Here's the beauty. We're looking at the decor.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because
it was bad?
No. Yeah. But Kyle. I haven't even.
John.
Nope. That's 2 guys ago.
Mm-hmm.
John.
Kyle Davidson, I think you were.
John Chayka.
Yep.
I think is completely ripping this thing out of the floor.
Oh, yeah.
And replacing it. So if you look at the roster now and you're trying to build the roster now, just know you're only having funsies. I like doing that early in the offseason. I go, here's what the Leafs look like right now. And people go, oh, that sucks. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's June, so give it a sec, right? I don't think next year's team looks anything like last year's team.
Yeah, this isn't even close to it.
Anything like it.
Like Philadelphia.
They don't think the same.
Daniel Briere got on Philadelphia radio after the Leafs trade earlier this week and said, don't expect a lot of big moves this offseason.
From him?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Because I think he's happy with what he's got, and they got a system, and they expect Mitchkov to improve. I think most of that is we're not trading Matvey, you friggin' dummies.
Oh,
but
yeah, he sort of needs to say that.
Yeah,
I get it.
But
okay, I get it.
I think knowing the Leafs are the exact opposite of that. As somebody who's my biggest, my favorite part of playing the NHL video games when I was GM was just, trade deadline on July 1st. Always the best.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be a little goofy.
The games are in the way.
Yeah. It's just, I got to play the game, whatever.
Also, the list of GMs
willing to speak to John
willing
Chayka.
to take John Chayka's phone call and not completely shut their pants over it. It's skyrocketed to 2.
Well, it's still 29. We might not talk to him. We got up to 2.
Danny Briere
Yeah.
and Julian Brisebois.
Yeah.
All right. Can we get
idiots.
to 3? Can we get to 3?
It's 100% owned, 100% packaged, 100% brewed in Canada since 1867. It's Moosehead Canadian Lager, and this is our 100% Clutch Canadians presented by Moosehead Canadian Lager. Our last time this season. Got to bring it back next year. It is the last Canadian brewery owned by Canadians. Crazy. Mm-hmm. So, who is your Clutch Canadian this season? We're not just talking Stanley Cup or the playoffs. We're talking all season. And it doesn't have to be for any other reason other than your own. Give me your Clutch Canadian.
Some teams try this, and it very often fails. And that is when the coach is the face of your team. But I think that applies to the Carolina Hurricanes. And that's not trying to insult any of their players. Obviously, Jordan Stahl's the captain. He won the Conn Smythe.
Mm-hmm.
There are lots of worthy players on the Hurricanes. Rod Brind'Amour is the face of the Carolina Hurricanes. Rod Brind'Amour was part of some narratives last year, in part pushed by me, where I was like, he can't get over the hump. Hurricanes can't get over the hump. Is his time in Carolina maybe coming to an end?
Mm-hmm.
and then he wins the Stanley Cup with the Hurricanes in one of the most dominant playoff runs we've seen in recent memory, maybe of all time. I'm going to say Rod Brind'Amour.
I love that. Great pick. Jesse, do you want to go next?
I wish you gave it to Paul Maurice. Guys who are the coaches who are the face of their franchise.
Yeah.
You're going to give it to Sault Ste. Marie's very own.
Yeah, well, I think they might give it to Matthew, but I'm also a good candidate.
I want to give it to Macklin Celebrini because he didn't win the Hart Trophy, but he is the Hart Trophy of my heart. We forget where he was at the beginning of the season because of how his season went. Last year, he was just Rookie of the Year and 65 points, or 63 points, and everything's fine.
Lame.
But we had no idea he would step up to this level this soon to be one of the best players in the NHL. He had 115 points, finished top 5 in Hart Trophy voting, and also was on the top line and the best line for Team Canada at the Olympics.
And was incredible.
This is 1 year removed from entering the NHL and just being, one of the next stars in this league.
He's a teenager.
Over the last 12 months, he has become one of the stars in the league, and he's only going up from here. So he's my Clutch Canadian of the year.
I'm gonna go a little off the chart here,
Paul Maurice.
because this player
And his candle.
This player had the
It's
remarkable. It made something far more remarkable than Rod Brind'Amour finally breaking through as a coach. Far more remarkable than Macklin Celebrini breaking through as a second-year player and being third in NHL scoring. I think it was third.
Up there.
Up there. He made the Leafs watchable for a bit. His name is Scott Laughton.
You know what? On brand pick.
100% Clutch Canadian, because that guy, no matter how shitty it was rah Leafs. And in true Leafs fashion, we totally fucking screwed him. But I want to say that I don't think Scott Laughton's coming back. I think he'll probably stay in LA. But Scott Laughton, for me this year, was the guy that made the awful, terrible, no good Leafs worth watching. He was amazing, and the teammates loved him, and he's a great person, and he's from here.
Clapper on a breakaway.
Clapper on a breakaway, Steven.
Electricity.
So, Scott Laughton, you are my 100% Clutch Canadian, just because I love you, man. Just because I love you. And that is our last one this year.
Scott Laughton from Oakville. He is from a family that owns a pickle farm. I think it's an 8th generation pickle farm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty darn cool.
Where did you pull that out of, man?
It's on the internet.
Not heard
It's
that
on the
story.
internet.
That's crazy.
Is a pickle farm just a cucumber farm?
Stop it.
You know what? You'll have to ask the Laughtons, but I can tell you this. A brewery is a brewery, and it's 100% Canadian-owned, Canadian-packaged, and Canadian brewed since 1867. 100% Clutch Canadians presented by Moosehead Canadian Lager. And we want to thank Moosehead for jumping on with us in the playoffs. It's been a blast hanging out. Hopefully see you in the fall. So let's talk about Matthew Knies, since Jesse brought it up, and then I want to go to Chayka Sundin for a second, and then I have a fun little question.
Oh.
So on Matthew Knies, trade speculation's huge. But it is just speculation. And Darren Dreger had that quote the other day, and people are just clowning this poor guy, and I feel bad for him because it's like, they're taking quotes from him like a month ago saying, well, I don't think Darren Raddysh leaves Tampa. That's a month ago. A lot can change in a month. Leave this poor man alone.
I understand doing the bit, but things do also change.
They do. And he's allowed to think one thing one week, especially at this time of year, and think another the next, because shit changes.
Yeah. It's like
just
tweeting it's gonna rain on May 14th. And then on a sunny day in June, you go, look at this stupid asshole.
Right?
It's not the same.
Now, Knies, we know, wants to be here. Shocking. An American that wants to be here. Whoa.
Wants to be here. Size of a mid-sized Jeep.
Yep. Now, we've pointed out that Leafs are left side heavy if they keep Knies. Right? They are. Because you've got Dakota Joshua in there too.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with it, but I'm just saying, you have to sometimes, you can't make a perfect team. And Matthew Knies doesn't drive play. He does not drive a line.
This is part of his problem.
The left side heavy thing, it actually, I think it matters a little because that was one of the big hiccups with the power play. They didn't have enough right shots to make their power play work.
This is my thing.
And I was told that from people around the league.
Yeah,
They don't have anyone. Now, the Hurricanes actually were a little bit like that at times, where sometimes they'd throw their power play out there and you're like, where's all the righties? Second unit didn't have that problem. First unit, there were none. There was one amazing moment during the Cup final that sort of got lost because Carolina ended up winning, where Jalen Chatfield broke his stick on the penalty kill. And usually defenseman breaks their stick, forward gives them their stick. There was no one on the ice who was a right-handed shot. So he had to switch to forward and then steal a stick off the bench before rejoining the play, and they survived it. But it was a big problem last year, the Leafs' lack of righties.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but
You're wrong.
I believe the only right shot signed in their forward group is Nylander.
Yes.
I
Even Michelli is not a right shot, I don't think.
Let me
hold
see.
on, let me just pull up Puckpedia.
No, yes.
Yeah, the
No,
shot. They have a little shot thing here. It's Willie.
Oh, what the
Yeah, they gotta.
like
Yarn Croak.
That's
Oh,
the
wait, no.
problem.
This is where you
That-
can start to see how this is a
You
problem.
can't build a team like with 12 guys who shoot left.
Makes also a lot of sense why Yarncroak was out there on the second power play unit. It wasn't just that Berube loved him. They needed somebody.
Their next right shooting forward, I believe, is like, in terms of their depth chart, Vinny Lettieri.
Let's go to the Marlies.
Vinny
Jesse,
Lettieri.
let's do this. Let's have this game.
Let me see. Miroslav Holinka.
Miroslav Holinka.
Noted.
Let's go.
Noted.
SDA is a right shot.
SDA is in the KHL.
But he wants to come back.
Hey, Roni Hirvonen is a left shot.
in Finland.
That's a left
By the
shot.
way, they should bring him back.
Doesn't count.
He had an incredible season.
Turvberg.
Twerberg.
No, the Turvberg.
No.
Turvberg.
Is
He had a
right
nice
shot.
goal last night.
He did.
Yeah.
Great.
Marlies didn't win.
Is
though.
Lettieri not a righty? I thought he was.
Vinny Lettieri. I don't know. Where is he under? Because he's
I don't think he's
Non-roster.
signed with
Vinny
NHL.
Lettieri. I found him because he's a UFA. That's why I couldn't see him. He's a right shot.
Oh, okay. So I
he has
guess
a right
under
shot.
contract, it's Twerberg.
So this is where you can sort of see where this is starting to make sense.
The Turv.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like this is starting to make sense where, like Knies is signed to a pretty good cost controlled deal. The Athletic has his market at 9.4 million in terms of what he brings versus and people like Drew's like, I don't understand why Matthew Knies has so much trade interest and whatever. I'm like, he had an off season last year. He still had 70 points or something like that. Like he's not. This is a great player who's got some funky underlining numbers. But the Leafs were ass last year, and the publicly available data, if your team is bad, your publicly available data is always going to look like shit.
I have such a hard time putting last season on him.
This is the thing, right? So he had 66 points, excuse me.
Whatever.
But, this is a guy who is enormous, is a fun guy, loves being here. We'd hate to lose him, but you can see why
Kills penalties as well.
a management group that has zero loyalty to anybody not named Nylander Matthews is going, we're getting McKenna in. We've got Cowan. We have Dakota Joshua on the third, potentially fourth line. I think
Unless he gets dealt.
Well, he could get dealt.
Everyone might get dealt.
But I could see Dakota Joshua sticking around and being a member of that fourth line.
I'd like him to stick around. I like that player.
I think
Especially if you're trading Knies.
I want him to work himself back into a third line role. I think you got to start him on the fourth. And so, looking at this, at least trying to look at what they're doing, because we don't really know how these guys operate yet still.
Nobody knows.
Getting a
still
sense.
I don't know what kind of team John Chayka wants.
Clearly, they want to move the puck.
Yes. If we're going to deduce anything from what they've done, they want to move the puck. They want to be more offensive than they were last year, which is, I think, maybe the least offensive team in the league in terms of shot generation. So,
like if they're not last, they're amongst the last.
Yeah.
So what's the strategy? Just don't be last? Like, I don't even know. You can't even look at these moves and be like, he clearly wants this kind of team. He just doesn't want a team that's last.
Which is why I think Carlo's going to be.
That's a good strategy.
That's why I think Carlo's going to be gone.
Yeah.
I just don't.
He hasn't scored a goal.
It's so interesting with there was rumors yesterday, and this, you got to remember this if you're an outside fan and if you're an inside fan. So if you're a Leaf fan, you know this probably already. If you're a fan of another team, you might know this. Agents love to throw Toronto is interested into reports because they love because they love to say, because they know it's going to get a lot of play in the media. And yesterday it came out that one of the teams that might be interested in Radko Gudas was the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I almost threw my phone at my phone.
Well, see, I didn't react at all because I know that's not true. And I know that's not true because A, it doesn't fit what they want. B, the way he played in Anaheim last year, Ducks fans were like, please get this guy off my roster.
Yeah. Matthews stuff aside, like forget, like let's pretend he never took out the captain's knee. Are you serious?
Well,
what year is this?
Again, I don't think they are. And even if, so people were saying, well, he could have signed in Toronto 3 years ago. They offered him a deal. He signed in Anaheim instead. Well, I think Radko Gudas is in a different place in his career where he just wants to stay in the league now.
I mean, that's Brandon Carlo, but worse and more violent.
But is he an upgrade on, if he's making $900,000, is he an upgrade on Philip Myers?
Sure.
And he shoots right.
Sure.
And he's not going to get pushed around.
Is he signing for $900,000?
Well, maybe $1.5 million. The guy's not that good, man. He was a guy. Radko Gudas is a funny guy because 5-6 years ago,
he's never been worth the deal he even had in Anaheim.
He had great underlying numbers. His whole career is a weird one. Mm-hmm. But I think now I just don't see
barbecued.
And he's also old.
Anaheim fans who were tooth and nail against Toronto, but for obvious reasons, we're like, please get this human being off my hockey team. Now, what was funny during the Matthews discourse is they're like, suspend him as long as you want.
Yeah.
Suspend him 20 games. I think he should be out the rest of the year.
He didn't play in the playoffs either. Captain.
Can I bring it back to the Matthew Knies conversation?
Sure.
I don't think Radko Gudas deserves any airtime.
Oh, okay. Whoa. Jesse's a hater.
Radko Gudas is a waste of time for everybody in the NHL.
Well, I have to still mention
nobody should play. No, he should play for nobody is my thoughts on Radko Gudas. He's so bad.
Well, he didn't want to play in Canada, and now all of a sudden,
fucking garbage player.
Interesting.
Matthew Knies. Is there a chance that the conversation around him right now is a little smoke and mirrors from this front office? Because we know that we don't know what they're going to do. Is the Matthew Knies rumors, maybe they're just throwing this out there to gauge the market and there's not actually anything from that? It's a little bit of holdover from the last regime.
Here's why I think it's not.
It's definitely possible.
It's possible, but here's why I think it's not. Mm-hmm. Darren Dreger saying yesterday or 2 days ago that NHL GMs are starting to get frustrated with the Leafs because they're not sure if he's actually going to get traded. Mm-hmm. And the Leafs are, to quote CJ, treating it as a bit of a fishing expedition.
I would like a mini run in the field.
And so what the NHL GMs are upset about is that, well, we keep trying to offer the Leafs stuff and they keep not saying yes. So we're going to complain to the insiders about it.
So that's my theory on that. Maybe they're not actually trying to trade Matthew Knies.
Well, it's not the Leafs driving the rumors then.
I don't know.
Is that? Well, no, I think it isn't. It's the other NHL GMs who are pissed.
Least favorite genre of hockey post. I spoke to NHL executive about the Leafs and they said, now, let's do multiple choice. I asked NHL executive about the Leafs, and they said, A, positive thing. B, negative thing. That's the end of it. Okay, everyone, what do you select? Adam, what's your guess?
Man, they're going to say something.
Okay, so that's B. Jesse, what do you guess?
All side negative.
Okay, you guess negative. Survey says negative. And you can answer that every fucking time because they're goofs. I don't expect anyone to throw a life raft the Leafs way. I don't expect any opposing GM to try to help out any other opposing GM or any other team. But let's call it what it is. And I know what the reaction is going to be from outside of this fan base. I don't care. I have no problem with being unpopularly correct. Everyone in this league hates this fucking team. And it doesn't matter who runs it. Mm-hmm. If it's Chayka, if it's Brad, if it's Dubas, those are three completely different people. And the only reason you didn't hear anything under Lou is they were afraid of getting whacked. Everyone resents the Golden Goose.
I thought you said the Golden Knights, but okay.
Well, everyone resents the Golden Knights. Well, and we're jealous of them.
Yes.
Also.
Yes.
I also want to finish second. Anyway, I'm so sick of that genre of post. Ugh. By the way, why does Kelly McCrimmon act like the Vegas
We're
Golden
going
Knights?
to that later. We're going to that later. Stay here.
Fine.
Stay with the Knies. So,
Fine.
let me ask you guys this.
Fine.
Number one, Do you think Knies gets traded actually? What's your guess right now? And by the way, when the winds change, you're allowed to change with them. We're not going to Darren Dreger you on this one. Does he get traded? I'm not asking for what, and I'm not asking where. Does he get traded? Is he a Leaf in September?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
We got too much dead air time.
I know.
Yeah.
People are going to start looking at their car.
Is my car broken? Yeah. So you say yes?
Yes. He gets traded.
Jesse.
September?
Is he a Leaf in September?
Yes, Matthew Knies is a Leaf in September.
Oh,
I like
Also, yes, but opposite. You said yes, he's going to get traded.
He's going to get traded.
I'm yes, he's a Leaf.
I like Jesse's yes better, to be honest. I'm just going with what I think. Like,
Okay.
I don't.
Adam, you got to answer too.
Here's part of the.
He's getting traded, and he'll be traded in the next week.
Here's part of the desperation
That's my view.
that Drew doesn't understand, and a lot of fans don't understand.
Well, Drew's never been a Leaf fan. He doesn't understand desperation.
There is that. Oh my god. Oh yeah, no, but the Avs only got to the third round this year. What a disappointment.
What are we gonna do? Nathan McKinnon's body language.
So Marner.
His team has like a bar for winning.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah. So Marner obviously went to Vegas, had a very successful season, very successful playoff. There's another guy leaving Toronto and going having success. Knies and Marner aren't the same player.
Nope.
Like not even close. But in terms of guys who are brick shithouses and capable offensive players, and they can do some good defensive things, we've seen these players come along so seldomly, and then they leave, and then they're exactly what we hoped they would be somewhere else. Zach Hyman is the most recent example of that. Kadri is a slightly different, but I would say example of that. And the Leafs don't have players like him in abundance. Who does? There aren't a lot of Matthew Knies type players around the league.
Nope.
I'd be surprised if you could name 20. Guys who are 220 plus, or let's say 215 plus, because the NHL isn't a very heavy league. Guys who are 215 plus will get into fights and win the vast majority of them. Hit, score, set up plays, kill penalties, and be on PP1. There's just not very many out there. I know his underlyings are poor, but he's so young and he's so cost controlled, and I have faith he can get it back on track with a different coach. Oh, boy, you better really, absolutely knock my socks off for this player.
I think that's what the deal. I think that's what the Leafs are fishing for, which is why it's pissing NHL GMs off, and that's why they're talking and saying, "Well, they simply can't hold out for the best possible deal or not trade him. Stop wasting our time." Yo, buddy, the Leafs have already shown that they're aggressive enough to make a deal when it's a good one. We saw it with Philadelphia earlier this week. They feel good about that deal. We were a little underwhelmed by the Woll return, but we understand why, because Woll's not exactly reliable. Emile Andre looks exciting. Great. Darren Raddysh deal. Aggressive contract or aggressive deal for the Leafs. It's great. You jump the queue, you keep him out of free agency, you get him signed, you're set. Okay. If there was a deal that had knocked their socks off, they would have made it.
Yeah.
Which means that the NHL GMs are pissed because they want this player and they know they're going to have to give up more than they've already offered, which they think is a lot.
By the way, the Leafs, they keep throwing Knies out there, but the price is so much and they're not doing it. Why does Doug Armstrong get away with this shit every 2 months?
With Robert Thomas. How many times has Robert Thomas almost been traded for
Robert Thomas,
rounders?
Jordan Kyrou, Colton Parayko, Braden Shen for a year, and then he finally got traded. Jordan Binnington has been... Shut up, Doug! Ugh, I'm so glad it's Steen finally taken over. He might actually move someone.
Oh, Doug's still there, though.
He is still there.
I got a couple of questions for you guys to ponder, unless you got something.
And Matthew Knies, it's such a gift for the Leafs to also just get him where they got him in the draft. That 2021 draft, if you're redrafting it, there's a chance he goes second or third overall.
Holy shit! What?
If we're talking top 5 in terms of just points, it goes Wyatt Johnston is
Crazy
number
pick.
1.
Crazy pick.
By a little bit. Matty Beniers, Dylan Guenther, Mason McTavish, William Eklund, Matthew Knies.
He probably goes top 10.
And then Owen Powers there, if talking defenseman. I ranked it by points. Luke Hughes is in there, but
Go by games
Knies
played.
is a top 10 player easily.
Games played is a good way to like.
Cole Sillinger, JJ Moser, Matty Beniers, Wyatt Johnston, Owen Power, McTavish, Kent Johnson, Eklund, Knies.
I think he's clearly a top 10 player.
Easily.
Yeah.
And they got him in the middle of the second round. That was 57 overall.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you, Wes Clark.
That's a great draft pick, and you can't just trade him away for something that's not guaranteed to be as good as Matthew Knies.
Isn't the
And if that
story-
deal's not there, you don't make that deal if you're Chayka. So you can complain all you want, other GMs, but that's the bar for a Matthew Knies trade.
Yep.
Isn't the story Kyle Dubas wasn't sure? He's like, oh, I don't know. And Wes Clark was like, draft Matthew Knies.
Well, he's a second round pick. You can't be sure. You know, the
whatever.
draft is such a crapshoot that when you luck out like this, I don't know, you can't squander it.
Yeah, he's their best non-first round pick in a number of years.
What we're going to learn with this Raddysh and the potential Knies deals, the one thing I keep going back to is how good is the Leafs pro scouting staff really? Because this comes down to them. This comes down, and I'm not talking about amateur scouts, right? Some people might not know this. There's the guys that scout for the draft, and then there's the guys that scout for the NHL. Hey, there's hidden value here. You know who's got some of the best pro scouts in the league?
Tampa,
Vegas, Florida, Tampa. Those are the teams that Carolina, I think, has got some great pro scouts.
Speaking of Tampa and their pro scouting staff, Raddysh was fumbled twice.
Let me finish this.
Sure.
Point. Okay. So if Raddysh turns out to be, what do you think is a successful season for him next season? Because I think I don't expect 70. I expect 50.
I was going to say 40 plus points. I'd like double-digit goals.
Jesse, what's a successful year for Raddysh for you with the Leafs?
Like I would count Raddish's success in terms of team performance.
That too.
So, like, I think Darren Raddysh could be a really good guy in the power play, but if it doesn't lead to wins for the Leafs, then it's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, does he get outscored?
Yeah. So I think, though, I judge the team success and like, hey, bringing Raddysh led to this result for the Leafs, I think is what I look at.
Pro scouting.
That's probably a better way to look at it.
Pro scouting is, to me, it's the most important department in the Toronto Maple Leafs right now.
Yeah.
Amateur scouting, it's great. You know, they've got some picks in this draft, and obviously you got the first overall pick. That's so nice. That makes the job easier. Pro scouting they are going to live or die. The Matthews era is going to live or die in Toronto in the next 2 years on that pro scouting staff. I hope they've got confidence in them because they're being put to the test.
Well, and think of how frustrating it must have been over the past year to be a pro scout for the Leafs. Between July and March. You're there doing nothing. Nothing. You're scouting and you're literally driving to games.
Yep.
You're watching them. You're filing a report and shredding it because they're not doing anything with it because they didn't do anything. They didn't make any trades. Oh, I know that guy was like, sir, oh, thank goodness I got to you in time. Here's my scouting report on Sammy Blais. And it was the last thing that guy did.
Caden Primo.
Caden Primo and Troy Stetcher. And that was the last thing they did for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Like
they're like, claim Troy Stetcher.
Like, dude,
Yeah.
I don't want to throw the term scouting blue balls out there, but I imagine they had it. And like the first people to be knocking down John Chayka's door when he got here. John, holy shit, can you please listen to me? Can you please actually do stuff?
What's interesting about it, Jesse and Steve, is he hasn't changed any of them.
Right.
And he went through a full organizational thing, but we have not heard any pro scouting changes. Obviously, Judd Brackett coming in is one thing from Minnesota. That's a major
Yeah, the
addition.
assistants have swapped out, but not the scouts, it sounds like.
But the scouts are the scouts. So it feels like this team had an internal list anyway of guys that they like, which any team would. And so it seems like John Chayka trusts it. So that's interesting.
Yeah, and you also don't do that because your name's not Kevin Adams. And Kevin Adams famously walked into the Buffalo Sabres when he got hired and fired everybody and did not have enough people working for him who understood anything to do their jobs at the beginning of his tenure.
Wasn't that amateur scouting completely on video?
Yeah, it was blown out. Like as
that's
soon as
crazy.
It was ridiculous. And that was, I think, a 1-of-1 decision. And Chayka isn't that dumb.
Worth mentioning, the Sabres have drafted really well.
Yeah.
That's amateur scouting.
That is amateur
That's
scouting.
not pro scouting.
Yeah, no, but I think they gutted the amateur scouting. It was probably the pro as well. They just were like, what if we just didn't spend
Also,
money?
can I just be honest? When you have a top 5 pick every year, you could probably draft pretty well.
Yeah, I'm not giving the Sabres credit.
man.
Hey, we're first overall.
Oh man, we got Rasmus Dahlin. That's crazy that he's good.
Benson was a good pick.
Yeah, sure. No, listen, I'm not saying it's all bad. Kevin Adams is going to work again because of how good the Sabres have been this year. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Well, Father's Day is this weekend, and you might be a little bit late on the gift, but that's okay. You could just say it's in the mail. Because you should go to auraframes.ca, auraframes.ca, and get $35 off their best-selling Carver Mat frame. It is a top-rated frame by Wirecutter of the New York Times, but also here on the SDP. We're actually huge fans of this product.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's awesome.
This is one of those gifts. Whatever you give it for, Father's Day could end up being a birthday, could be an anniversary. This is one of those gifts. The main problem with it is topping it next year.
That's a good point.
I'm not blowing smoke because that thing is going to stay in the house, right? It's going to stay with whoever you give it to.
It's got longevity.
It's got longevity, and it's going to be great for as long as they have it, which is going to be a long time. And your only problem is you set the standard very high.
One thing I was thinking about too, it's perfect if you have a long distance relationship with your parents. Or if you live far away from where your parents live and you send them this or you bring them this on Father's Day or wherever it is, and then you can just upload photos from your life wherever in the distance, and they're just getting constant updates to their frame directly. It's a really cool gift.
It'd be like if Steve, living where he lives, that his parents live on the other side of Yonge Street.
Yeah,
It'd be
a place he'd never go.
He'd never see them.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Anyway.
Dearest mother and father, stop. This is your son.
Also
Stop.
works for like friendships.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Well, who has those? Anyway, go to auraframes.ca, promo code SDP. That's going to give you $35 off their best-selling Carver Mat frame. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Now, fun thought to ponder. Okay. We are, and I want to transition to this player too, because I wanted to ask you guys, Darren Raddysh, that's what you think, okay? And then I want to go to Chayka Sundin for a quick second. So, fun thought to ponder. My question is, and this is for you watching and listening as well. You're an NHL general manager. You've got Bo Byram available. You've got Darren Raddysh available. Bo Byram is 26.
He's on my do not acquire list.
Okay, but hang on.
Okay.
Let me ask the fucking question, man.
Okay, do it.
All right.
I agree, by the way.
Darren Raddysh at 8 years, 8.5, but he's 30. Bo Byram, 4 years younger, 8 years, apparently times 10 or 10 and a half.
Yeah.
And you guys say, both say do not acquire. Tell me why.
I don't care if Bo Byram asks for $6 million. He's a Darren Ferris client, non-starter. I'm not kidding.
Hey, that's his answer.
I'm not kidding.
There's no place in the league where Darren Ferris does not cause chaos.
He loves squeezing every dollar and turning his clients into a suitcase. That's exactly what he's done with Bo Byram. That's exactly what he's going to do with Bo Byram.
What he did with Taylor Hall for years.
Have fun with that shit.
He did that to Taylor Hall for years.
Yeah, and then Hall fired his ass. Good.
Did Hall fire him?
I think so.
Okay, let's find that out. Jesse.
I'm very unimpressed with what Bo Byram has been through this point in his career. He's underwhelming in Colorado. They traded him for a reason, and I don't think he's been the greatest defenseman in Buffalo. So I don't trust that talent there, and he's going to command a lot of money, and I don't think he's going to live up to his next contract for whoever's willing to pay that number that Ferris.
I don't think anybody is, right? Like when he was in Colorado, I mean, I guess maybe they are because the money, the economics have changed. But when he was in Colorado, it was sort of unimpressive. And they basically, Nathan McKinnon's like, you don't work hard, get out. You know, him and Middlestat, get out.
Also, Hall didn't fire him.
No, but
someone did. I forget who.
Hall decided he didn't need to take top dollar anymore and wanted to stay and play. And that's the thing. Darren Ferris clients, he talked about this openly with John Shannon on 100% Hockey. He said, I normally like to get my players to free agency before we even start talking about an extension, unless they tell me otherwise. But I always like to push them to free agency to get top dollar. And an agent's job is to do that.
Yes.
And
a GM's job is to be like, well, we're not paying you top dollar, so fuck off.
Right. So I think Bo Byram, I thought when Michael Kesselring was traded, I thought Bo Byram was probably staying, but it turns out he's not. And so you guys just say, so you say no acquire Bo Byram because of Darren Ferris. Jesse, you say because of performance.
Yeah, and Kesselring, I believe, is the other side of the handedness there. So I don't think they affect each other totally.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So,
If you could,
he's a righty.
yeah, Kesselring's a righty, Bo Byram is a lefty. But yeah, a year out, like that UFA deal is going to be a lot because Ferris is going to fight for it. And I don't think Bo Byram's going to live up to whatever he's going to get.
We've talked a lot about the fact that we just don't know how Chayka and Sundin are going to operate. Starting in a sense, at least on what defense is going to look like, right? No idea what forwards are going to look like. Have a little bit of a sense of goaltending, which is, I don't know, let's try it. Which is sort of what they're going to do with, we think, with Akhtiamov, Hellebuyck, and Anthony Stolarz next year. We think it's going to be some version of the three of them. Haven't heard any rumors that they're looking to acquire goaltending talent. Maybe Sam Harrison too.
Oh yeah.
One thing I'll say with Sundin and Chayka, and what we did say was initially, they're checking the obvious boxes. Fire Craig Berube. That was a question. There were people openly going, well, what if you gave Craig another shot? And he also makes a lot of money, right? All the way. By the way, there were rumors he's going to join Mike Babcock in Edmonton. We're going to get to that later in the show. That Chayka and Sundin with this move today check two boxes for me. Number one, or this week, I think, the do something box, because they did some things. Okay, number one. Number two, addressed a problem that has been a problem for 20 years. Right shot defenseman that can fire a puck. We told Lamorello, we told Dubas, we told Treliving, none of them did it.
And Lou said, don't worry, I'm locking up Zaitsev.
Yeah. This is like, they're actually doing it. I know Jesse earlier this week, and we had the clip go viral, and everybody's so mad at you for questioning the Jim Hiller hire. We got to get to that Jim Hiller press conference too, because I got a couple of clips from that I want to play. But does this check some boxes for you? Does this give you more confidence in the administration? We always said, hey, that's an interesting hire, but we're open to it. Let's see what happens. Where do you stand now?
Well, for anyone criticizing Jesse, what I would say is please send us any evidence over the last few months since March. You were like, please go out and get Jim Hiller.
Yeah, there actually was one person. He's a listener from the UK.
Yeah.
Who DM'd me, and he's like, in your round two, I had a super chat saying Jim Hiller to the Leafs. I said, yeah, but you were joking, and he's like, I know, but I'm taking credit for it.
I was gonna say you're the only one who gets to talk shit, and then you admitted.
No. He's like, I said you could still talk your shit. You get it.
No, like this team was paralyzed for so long. It's checking the boxes of actually doing stuff, and that's what we wanted. This has been a problem since before Treliving. Because Dubas had itchy thumbs too. He was all about moving, but it was deck chairs. It's the team's problem for years and years is they had too many guys at the top taking up all the cap space when the cap wasn't going up. And when it became obvious the cap wasn't going up, he wouldn't make that foundational change, a change that wouldn't matter. Chayka doesn't seem to have that problem.
No.
And like, he's there to do the stuff that we won't as fans. Like, it's hilarious that Leaf fans, including myself, I'm not making fun of anyone, were like, oh, Joseph Woll.
He plays piano.
I like him. He's a delightful little boy.
Yeah.
And Simone Benoit, the milk guy.
The what was the punch? The
Superman punch that I don't even think connected.
No, it didn't, but it was a great picture.
But it was fun. Oh, yeah. Get that picture blown up and put it in your basement. Chayka's there to cut through all that. And I think part of the reason he's probably got a poor reputation amongst hockey guys is maybe he does things somewhat soullessly. You know what I mean? Like, this is
about as aggressive and soulless as I've seen them be. And I mean that as a compliment.
That's exactly.
There's no doing right by the player here.
But like, that's exactly what the Vegas Golden Knights are.
Yep.
And
Florida too.
And they're great at what they do. Just ask them, right? Like we go out and we do what we got to do. Go out and do what you got to do, because last year's team, it shouldn't be controversial to make changes to it, was awful.
Jesse, your thoughts? Check any boxes. Does it check any boxes?
I liked what Chayka did with the Joseph Woll trade. I thought it was a good trade. I didn't like the hiring of Jim Hiller. I don't think we talked for 40 minutes about Jim Hiller.
Yep.
So I don't know if I need to reiterate everything
we know
said there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But not a fan of what happened in LA and losing the room. I think so much about being a good head coach in this league is just having a good room. And I didn't like what I saw in LA. So I didn't like that hiring by Chayka. I thought that was a miss. I don't trust Keith Pelly. I don't trust his glasses and what color they're going to be on a day-to-day basis.
You never know. It's unpredictable. You're right.
You never know what color the glasses are going to be, and you don't know where his sticky fingers are on this organization. This signing is what it essentially is, but this trade and signing, I think, is a good move. I am allowed to evaluate these moves independently. And then overall, you look at the direction of the franchise and you say, okay, they're doing things here. There's a lot of wait and see to see if all of these pieces come together, but I'm glad they're doing stuff. Individually, there are things I don't like and things I do like. But I think right now, I think that's where I'm sitting here and evaluating the Leafs. I hope they have a really successful season for the sake of the fan base and being a fan and rooting for the Leafs, but we'll see how things pan out. Little things too, like the changes he made in the front office, I wasn't entirely a fan of them. Mm-hmm. I don't think he should have gotten rid of every assistant GM in there because I thought there were some really smart people. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's how I'm evaluating this thing on a case-by-case basis.
That's fair.
One of the things that was mentioned to me is, so it's been rumored for a while that Jay Goldberg is going to leave the Kings to come to the Leafs. That still hasn't happened.
Yeah.
But the thought is, well, he's going to come in and maybe he was a supporter of Hiller's. And the only other thing, first of all, I'm 1,000% on board with you. I am also skeptical, but like all coaches lose the room eventually. And like Bruce Cassidy, the main reason he was fired, he's obviously a good tactical coach. They're holding him hostage right now because he's a good tactical coach, but he lost the room.
Yeah, but like Hiller doesn't have that to fall back on.
He doesn't have I'm Bruce Cassidy.
That doesn't exist there. And people keep trumpeting the 24-25 numbers and just throwing it out there. I don't entirely, like I said it last time, I thought there's a bit of a mirage there with those LA numbers.
His head coaching stats are just not plentiful at all. He started the season as Kings coach twice. And you can't be like, well, he was great this season without acknowledging the other one he got fired. Yeah. Because things were going so poorly. Right?
So, you can't say, like, look at 24-25 and how great he was, because I think we tossed those out. I don't think there's enough evidence to prove that he's either a great coach because of that or a bad coach because of that. I just don't trust what I've seen here from him.
Was it sustained?
No,
right? And that's the question is like, yeah, you did it one season, but for it to be a trend, it has to be multiple seasons.
Yeah, and then LA put your head in the toilet. Or sorry,
right.
Edmonton. Edmonton put LA's head in the toilet.
Morgan Riley and his agent are still working on finding a landing spot. But pretty fair to say he's not going to be back, which is why we kind of don't include him in the... And I know there's some people out there, I'm actually included in this, who go, listen, under a different system, he might be more useful, but I just think sometimes it's time to move on, as I mentioned last episode, so we won't spend too much time on that. I want to move to just 2 clips from the Jim Hiller press conference. Ooh. Because we never get the chance to do this. And I thought there were a couple of illustrative moments that we will find interesting. And the first one starts, Jesse, it's right here. I'm just highlighting it for you. At 3:38. Because one of the things that I think we're all kind of concerned about is what system they're going to play, because we have no idea, right? Other Leafs general managers and coaches and whatever have come in and said, we're going to be this. Truculence, pugnacity, snot. We're going to be puck moving. We're going to be Corsi gods. We're going to be, whatever else GMs have said we can and we will. John Chayka is like, I'm not going to tell you anything, actually. And Jim Hiller did give us a little bit of a crumb in this press conference.
But before he plays the quote, like, everyone's afraid of the 1-3-1. Mm-hmm. If it wins, great. But I also want the product to be entertaining,
which is why you'll love this clip.
2 years ago, they won a lot. They weren't entertaining.
So at 3:33, we're talking about philosophy and media, and we'll end it at 6 minutes. Jesse, go ahead.
He really embodies what we're all trying to do and be here with the Leafs. So on the next topic, I'm sure this is going to get brought up, and so I want to just talk a little bit about my philosophy on the team, on coaching. And where I believe the biggest impact the coach can have is guiding the spirit of the team. I think it's the most important most important, the foundation of any team is how the spirit strengthens and grows during a season. And to me, everybody who's involved and can touch the team in certain ways has some input and some influence on how that grows. The players, of course, have the greatest influence, but we outside that have to support that and understand that as that grows, the team grows. And so that's where a lot of our emphasis will be in just recreating, reigniting, and growing and strengthening the spirit of the hockey team. And I think that when you leave the dressing room with that translates directly onto the ice. And what does that look like? We could go into 1,000 different areas of the game that might look like. But for me, the simplest one is skating, because I believe skating is the first chain in competing. And so when you get on the ice and you're skating, and when I say skating, it's up, it's back, it's there, it's quick, it's stop, it's as quick and hard as you can do things. That's how you start to know that your hockey team and the spirit of your team is starting to grow. So never mind the offensive structure, the defensive structure, all those will be in place. They're a byproduct of the spirit and then skating of your hockey club. So we can talk more about that in more detail as time goes by, but I just wanted to make sure that I was really clear on that's the emphasis of where I see the challenge of the coach. And finally, when John called me quite a while ago, I got off the phone and my wife said, "Who was that?" I said, "It's John Chayka, is the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs." And she went, "Oh no, the media." And I said to her, "No, I know those people. I've been there. Those are all really nice people." So with that, I will open it up for questions.
There you go. Leave it there. I wanted to include the media part in there because I just think, hey, they're trying to embrace the media. Keith Pelly did say that 2 years ago. And then Brad Treliving promptly said, "Fuck it. I'm not going to tell you anything about injuries."
Well, but at some point, the call's coming from inside the house. Like, you're owned by Rogers.
Right.
Like,
yeah. You kind of have to. So what do you think about what he had to say philosophically? I'm going to start with Jesse.
I would also like to start with Jesse.
I heard that and I said, okay, if you live and you learned and he comes here, he's a completely different person. Awesome. That's what should be the case for the head coach of this team. Should be the case for any really good head coach in this league. Let's see the execution on that philosophy. I would love that.
Okay,
that'd be great.
Let me ask you a follow-up. And this is something I've never understood. Truly great head coaches. Okay, why do they only ever have one system? Like, why? Because
they don't.
What I've been told was that, well, he can only do 1-3-1. Okay, well then why is he worth $2 or $3 million a year then? In LA, the way that team was built, right? It was he wanted to do defense first, and for one season it worked, and last season it didn't, right? I also think there's some roster construction issues there too. I think a great head coach should be able to look at the team he's going to, unlike Berube, who was told to institute this system. And I don't put that at his feet. I put that at management's feet and go, they're not built a 1-3-1. That's not a 1-3-1 build, that team. I should be able to switch up that system. Jesse, do you get the sense that they feel that way too?
Yeah, I don't think head coaches have one system. A lot of tactical strategy parts of the game right now, some really good head coaches, like, they leave it to their assistant coaches to figure those things out.
Yep.
And the actual minutiae of the strategy and the formations, the assistant coaches, that's a lot of their jobs there. We'll see I think there's an opportunity here for Jim Hiller to have a blank slate and work in conjunction with Chayka and the other people in the organization and everybody there who they want to build out their analytics department with, and come up with a new way to coach this team and a new philosophy for Hiller so he doesn't look anything like that coach in LA. And then on a personal level, getting these players to believe in him, that's going to be something he's got to work through with the players on the team. And if he's talking about his philosophy there, I hope there's execution with it. That's the thing. It's like, okay, you're saying the right stuff. It's, if a player walks up to you and says, "I'm going to score 50 goals this season," go do it then.
And now if that player's name is David Kampf, you say, you know what, let's temper expectations. But if it's Matthews, we're into it, right?
Right. And now it's about execution. That's what I'm asking for out of this guy. I didn't like the hiring because I didn't believe that this guy's the one who can execute these things, but he's saying the right stuff, and now it's a matter of you got to deliver.
You need buy-in, and it faded throughout the season.
Did it ever.
I think it hit a point where that win in Winnipeg, and Scott Lawton's doing the ear thing to the fans, and they're doing the crying gesture to the fans. There was a point where I was like, they might actually be back on track.
The Edmonton win?
Edmonton win.
When they went on their winning streak to go into the Olympic break.
Yeah.
Was
and
that
they
in
went on
Toronto?
the Western road trip.
And the Leafs hung up the phone and said, we're not calling anyone.
Oh,
And do you remember? And
Yeah, I
things
remember
were rolling going into the break.
And that win streak ruined their season.
Dakota Joshua
It legitimately ruined their season.
was on the Leafs Nation podcast the other day, and he said one of the things that bit them last year was the fact that they always believed that they would turn a corner and just never did. And that's a little bit of overconfidence, I think, right? You've got to be aware that it's not just a given.
Yeah.
Right. But the buy-in, the spirit that I think he's talking about is around, I think it was in March when this team doesn't care anymore. Does not care. And they were getting back in that Anaheim game. And it was great. And it was led by Austin too. Like, people forget about that. It was a comeback win for the Leafs that was spearheaded by Austin had an awesome game. And Austin was a key part of the comeback. And it was a moment where we were like, oh, there he is. There's that guy. There's that guy who we've been looking for all season, and we're worried he's not there anymore. And he shows up and he gets hit. Willie's arm goes up. Riley doesn't move. Carlo doesn't move. Cowan's a rookie.
Yeah.
There's no spirit in that. Mm-hmm. And apart from not sticking up for each other and fighting and whatever, he's right. Like, the first thing to go is the feet. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't care anymore, or you don't believe in the direction, or you don't like what your coach is telling you. The first thing to go is the feet. You see the shoulders slump when they're skating off, but it's their feet.
Yeah.
The Panthers believe.
Vegas did. Vegas feet never stopped.
Yeah,
Carolina
right.
believed.
It's the effort with the skating. And the other thing from last season that you were on that you didn't find funny, but because it was funny at first and then you didn't find it funny anymore, was Nylander and Berube and their little tiff at practice.
Yeah.
Where he's telling him to shoot, and then Nylander goes and he whips a shot, and he goes over and he laughs at him.
Yeah.
Like, you see that
And
shot.
Berube didn't find that funny.
And Berube didn't find that funny. It was like kind of a chuckle moment. But then you were saying, I don't find that funny either.
Yeah. Like, I'm telling you to do that because you suck compared to the standard that we need you to be at, and we suck. You scored a goal at practice. I'm not laughing, actually. I'm not, and I know that's unkin chopped and stupid and grumpy and lol mad. It is flatly, frankly true.
Yeah.
It's not how the best teams operate.
And you can't have a coach in there who's having that relationship with his players. So if Jim Hiller's coming in and not being what Craig Berube was by the end of it in mid-season, like, then it's already a plus up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you make $11.5 million, I have to tell you to shoot, we got problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The next one I want to get to, Jesse, is a Luke Fox question at 1324. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's a good question. And what's interesting about this, it ends at 1532, so it's 2 minutes long, just over, is John Chayka jumps in on this answer. And I want you to pay particular attention to what he says at the end of it, because I think it's illustrative. Go ahead.
Force that. Go ahead, Luke.
Congratulations, Jim. This team has a couple superstars in their prime in Austin and Willie. And I'm just wondering how much, if any, conversation either you or John had with them about this hire during the process, immediately after, and Jim, how you expect to maximize those guys' offense.
Well, I'll go first, and then I haven't talked to them at all. I think, as you guys know, this has been a relatively tight process, and I think we've kept that very, very tight. As far as, talking to, just keeping it between a very small group of people. I look forward to talking to them. There's no question. You guys know that I spent a lot of time with those guys when they were breaking into the league as young players. I have great, great respect for them. I love to see how they've matured and evolved and everything they've accomplished in the game so far since I've left them. And I'm sure I'll be getting to them very, very soon.
Yeah, I would just add, more broadly, every candidate we had, we spoke to as many people as we could. So, between current players, if the coach was currently coaching, former players, equipment managers, massage therapists, basically anyone that would return a call, we called to get a background on the candidate. And Jim was no different. And again, what separated Jim was clear that, the players that had been around him, really valued who he is as a person. They really felt like they could trust that he had their back. They felt like he was committed to making them the best versions of themselves, and that he was, a coach that was going to be player centric, but also, a coach that coached. He pushed. He wanted the best out of people, and he was creating an environment that brought that out. So, again, that wasn't just specific to Jim in terms of the diligence, but with Jim as well, it was a similar approach.
He also says in the press conference, on top of that, to our players, this wasn't a hire to just check a box. Mm-hmm. So those two comments together, I think, are interesting. And, to address, it's weird for a GM to address the players through a Zoom call.
Yeah.
In a press conference. I think he's trying to send a message because, again, the Matthews thing is still technically up in the air. I hate to remind everybody of it, but it is true.
I mean, until he signs an extension, which he cannot.
No. But Steve, he still hasn't told them I'm 100% committed, although he apparently likes what's going on, as he should.
Mm-hmm. And it's something that can change.
Something that can change.
I mean, after the way this season ended, it's difficult to blame anyone for not having questions, including him.
Moving on to the rest of the league while we have time, because we don't have a lot of time. Guys, would you rather take Darren Raddysh, 30 years old, at 8 times 8.5, or John Carlson, who's 38, 2 years times 11 each? That's apparently what he might be getting, $10 or $11 million. It's looking like the East Coast. And with the Darren Raddysh trade this morning, we know Philadelphia is interested. The other name that might come up is Tampa. Wow. So what do we think?
Well, okay, I have a question. A question to answer your question. Would you rather give John Carlson 2 years at 11 mil or get him for less than a full season at 8 mil, but you also have to pay a first round pick?
Yeah, I was talking to Zach Kavanaugh about that. I think they were disappointed he doesn't want to stick around. And now the pressure's on to keep Trouba, and apparently Trouba wants to come back to the East Coast too.
Because I'm on the side of it's just money. If anyone should be emptying the clip,
it's the Ducks.
What?
They got a lot of young defensemen. I think they're going to. Well, yeah.
Oh,
Tampa.
sorry. In terms of money,
yeah, I think the Tampa trade doesn't look great in retrospect because I think that's the 15th overall or 17th pick, 18th pick, whatever it is. It's not great, but they did get to the second round.
Yes,
made millions of dollars.
Yes,
and he had a great effect on Minchikov.
Yeah, valuable experience for that Ducks team. I don't hate it. It hurts a bit, but you shouldn't hate it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you got a good point with that's a lot to pay up for a guy who's not sticking around. Because usually when the first is involved, he signs an extension.
Yeah.
The money?
Who cares?
Tampa should spend the money. Tampa is I think some people are like, oh, they're a Florida team. They have a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And Hedman is still a bit up in the air, and Raddysh is gone, and he was such a huge part of your team. Okay, who's the best offensive defenseman available? It was Raddysh. Mm-hmm. I think it's John Carlson.
So you think Tampa should sign Carlson?
2 times 11, even if it becomes a problem, it's 2.
Right, exactly. That's why the 2. I don't find it crazy. I know some people are looking at some sticker shock with Carlson, but I think he's still a really good player. I liked the deal for Anaheim at that trade deadline,
and he was great for them.
I thought it was really good. Yeah, and like you said, he was good for them. It's just that if you're going to pay that price, he's got to stick around. So I think he's going to be worth that $11 million for 2 seasons.
Hey,
you want John Carlson and you get to the second round, or you want Justin Falk and you miss the playoffs?
Yeah,
because they were both roughly
also
the same price.
Worth noting, he pushed Lacombe off the top power play unit. John Carlson was running the top power play unit.
which you needed to give Lacombe the rest.
They had a duality in that, like Joel Quenneville has enough offensive firepower that they had two very good units. So I'm not. It's not like a Leafs where it's like we only have these 5 players who can play the power play, and the rest of you bums, sorry, you're going to get 20 seconds at the end of the power play. They would do 1 minute, but Jackson Lacombe is phenomenal, and John Carlson was the guy they moved into that spot.
I streamed 7 Tampa playoff games. I couldn't tell you their second unit because
you don't need to know.
They only used the first one.
Yep.
Well, because it was either the first one scored or they just never lost the zone. It's going to be Point. It's going to be Kucherov. It's going to be Hagel. It's going to be Raddysh, but now it's Carlson.
Yep.
They go out and get him. And I know I'm missing someone. It's a really, really, really good.
It seems like a good fit for him.
First unit. Don't worry too much about the second one.
Chris Johnson said yesterday that with the Larkin project in Detroit, things seem pretty quiet because the Red Wings are probably or have already probably gone back and said, yeah, we're going to need more teams than that.
Yeah, that's Yzerman just going, yeah, no.
So I just wanted to mention that.
You don't have leverage here. You have 5 years left.
Yeah.
Give us a larger.
It's funny sometimes, a no trade clause can give you less leverage in certain instances if you're being tight about it. The Edmonton Oilers are cleared to hire Mike Babcock, basically. It looks like that's going to happen.
The story about this, once it gets written, is going to be fascinating.
Yeah. So I don't know why or how or whatever, but it looks like it's going to happen. Berube apparently rumored. DJ Smith may go there as well, although some people are connecting DJ Smith and Jim Hiller as they should.
Berube to Edmonton?
There are rumors that Berube might go in there
as an assistant?
Potentially.
Really?
Potentially.
The statement yesterday from the NHL. The National Hockey League today released the following statement regarding its investigation of Mike Babcock. The league has completed its review of Mike Babcock's tenure in Columbus and of certain alleged conduct associated therewith. Our investigation has concluded that even in a light least favorable to Mr. Babcock, there is no current basis to restrict his employment in the league.
There you go.
What does that mean?
So if you look at the evidence in the worst way.
One more time. The league has completed its review of Mike Babcock's tenure in Columbus and of certain alleged conduct associated therewith. Our investigation has concluded that even in a light least favorable to Mr. Babcock, there is no current basis to restrict his employment in the league.
Which I interpret, let me know if you interpret it the same way, to be, sure, he's a dick, but he didn't do anything wrong.
Yes. If we look at this in the possible worst way, what he did still shouldn't keep him out of being employed.
Wrong might be the wrong word. Yeah. Yes.
And you had strong feelings about this in relation to Columbus agreeing to buy him out of his contract at the time.
They messed this up so royally. It's so like, listen, you shouldn't, if Mike Babcock, before he was hired by Columbus, while he was hired by Columbus, and after he was
74 days
hired by Columbus, 74, that's insane. 74 days was the same person the whole time.
Yes.
I'm of the opinion they should have never hired Mike Babcock. Mm-hmm. But they did.
But they talked to his friends.
And his friends
said that he was a good guy.
And his friends said, hire my friend.
That's what they said at the time.
Yeah, they should have never hired him. They did hire him. And then when he was a bit of a jerk, which is the thing he does.
Yep.
He spams the jerk button.
Yep.
Could have phrased that different, but that's what he does. You better believe he just spams the hell out of that jerk button. He's always jerking it, this guy. Anyway, took all the subtlety out of it. They should have never hired this guy. But then, like, you get pressure from like Chicklets, and like stories come out. The majority of those Babcock stories were out there already.
Yeah, I think I don't know why. I don't think we know that story yet. I think he did do something legitimately where the Columbus Blue Jackets are like, we can't employ this guy.
I'm on the side of they made the right call at the time.
Yeah. I think Chicklets were onto something, and I think that surprised a lot of people.
I think the Blue Jackets probably did, well, after making the decision that they shouldn't have done, they made the decision that most, I think, decent people would have made. And they're like, we're not going to employ this jerk to be a jerk. Here's the problem. The league is run by jerks, and jerks are up at the top.
And you wanted this jerk. Like you said, this isn't a new person over the course of the 74 days.
Yeah.
He was always that person. So if you wanted that, go that direction is what you're saying.
I know I'm not the most favorable with Vegas Golden Knights fans right now. Do you think Vegas makes this decision? Absolutely not.
Build them a statue.
They hire someone, and if you have a problem with it, they tell you to fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And they stay with that decision, and they win with that decision, and they go nanny boo-boo the whole time. And they're right to do it.
But what if
you're in the winning business?
Doesn't want to be that team? What if they don't want to be that kind of organization?
They wanted to be that team 74 days ago.
And then they got the opportunity to backtrack on it after they saw what that made them.
You're allowed to change your mind.
And I don't fault them.
You're allowed to change your mind, but most of us are not allowed to change our mind if it costs our employer millions of dollars. You know what I mean? Like
most of us.
What, was it Yarmo or was it Don Waddell? I think it was Yarmo.
It would have been Kekalainen. Yeah.
Kekalainen. And so the guy cost his team millions of dollars, or whoever made that decision, and then they go on to newer and more lucrative employment within the same league that you made that decision in? What? Like, what I am saying, because I don't want anyone to misinterpret this as, does Steve is Steve sticking up for Babcock? No, I'm, again, steadfast, wouldn't have hired him in the first place. But once you made that decision, even if he's a jerk to Adam Fantilli or whoever, you have to stay with that decision.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Because if he pisses off Adam Fantilli and Adam Fantilli wants a trade on a market that's impossible to get players in, he's gone and he's pissed off your best young player.
Yeah, and you don't do that
in a dumb way.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying
I agree.
You fucking fire him.
No, you don't.
Goodbye. And
you shouldn't have hired him in the first place,
and listen,
which I think we can all agree on.
Buffalo yes. But Buffalo Sabres fans, and I'm thrilled for their success or whatever, I'm just going to tell you, Yarmo's not a good general manager. And never was. And I hope for success for him in Buffalo. He seems to have a loaded deck of cards, which is awesome. That's great.
He got them all to play for him.
Yeah, and way better than he ever had in Columbus too, right?
He got them all to play for him.
But let's not pretend that Yarmo assembled that group. He didn't. He didn't get anything done being able to spend to the cap and having full organizational autonomy where the owners were like, just do whatever you got to do for 10 years.
Didn't have a particularly great trade deadline.
No,
it would have been
like Logan Stanley and Luke Shan.
No, the one asterisk I put on that is Sam Carrick was a really good fit, and then they didn't really have him.
Yeah,
but
I'll just tell you, Yarmo's not a good GM, and until I'm proven otherwise, and I'm always open to that, I will maintain that Yarmo's record in Columbus was at best less than mediocre. If I were to, it'd be like my math grade was still higher than Columbus's success rate under Jarmo Kekalainen. That's the truth. So, yeah, I'm not surprised there was chaos there. They shouldn't have hired him in the first place. But at that point, Jarmo's in his desperate years, right? It's the end. And if I piss off Adam Fantilli and he asks for a trade out and he doesn't want to play for Babcock, the way Cutter Gauthier didn't want to play for Tortorella in Philadelphia, I'm fucked. So you move on from the coach.
Blue Jackets fans, I don't want you to take this the wrong way. I think it was a small market team buckling in the light. No other relevant team in this league makes that series of decisions.
Well, the Edmonton Oilers just did, or at least part of them. And
no, like this is the thing, Adam. They fought to hire him. Yep. They have hired him,
and they're going to stick with it.
They will not fire him in the next 75 days.
Oh, I know that. I'm just saying I think Columbus made I completely disagree with your assertion. I think Columbus made exactly the right choice. Mike Babcock. They interviewed like two people. They talked to Mike Babcock's neighbor, who happens to be Ken Hitchcock. It's like, oh man, that's so crazy. Like, it's just fucking. They didn't do any work.
And Ken Hitchcock,
and then they got
who has clout
exposed
within Columbus as well.
Yeah, for some reason.
So it's not just about Babcock. He has clout within Columbus.
Now we got to move on to some other things because we don't have a lot of time. Sergei Bobrovsky saw all the 6-year deals that were handed out last year. And he wants a 6-year deal as well. He's 37, but I think he's going to be 38 this season. He wants, apparently, one of those delicious Brad Marchand 6-year contracts that'll take him till he's 42, 43. $42 million is apparently what he's asking for. 6 years, 42 mil.
Florida's going to do it.
I don't think they are. No. I think they're going to get Connor Hellebuyck.
Oh, shit.
That's what I think is going to happen. Dylan Larkin, I'm sorry, you're not going to Florida. Connor Hellebuyck is.
Now, wait a moment. You can have Connor Hellebuyck, who's younger than Bob, not by a ton, but he's younger than Bob.
33?
He's younger than Bob and doesn't make a ton more, though.
8.5. And he signed for 3 or 4 more years.
Oh, it's 8.5?
It's 8.5.
Do they have the assets to give to Winnipeg?
That's a good question.
So here's what's fun about that. Kevin Cheveldayoff's brutal at this. So yes, they do.
That's not fair.
It's
a little fair.
Extraordinarily fair. It's more fair than he deserves.
I'd be more concerned if I was a Jets fan and I get a bunch of draft picks back. That's when I'd be really concerned.
That's not
because they can't draft.
What draft picks?
Well, I know Florida. I don't know what Florida has.
I think they have some.
But I don't want...
They have a first-round pick this upcoming draft because they retained it in the Blackhawks.
Oh, yeah.
But that's kind of it for first.
So that's got to be a part of it.
That's gone.
Next
Valmanis is gone.
28's gone, the first.
Samoskevich is gone.
Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe that's
Did we just make the trade?
I think we did.
What do you do? What is your trade? Sorry, I was trying to read the draft.
The Chicago first? Is it Chicago? Or who is it?
Florida.
So they were. Oh, the 9th overall pick. Sorry.
Yeah.
The 9th overall pick, Sandis Valmanis, Mackie Samoskevich. Geez, can you do better than that? Daniil Tarasov, maybe you throw in.
I don't know.
Dude, this trade
I don't know
stinks,
about this.
Man.
I don't know about this. And that's what I'm saying.
For someone who's supposed to be year in, year out a top 5 goalie in the league.
I don't think this trade's getting done with Florida. I just don't think they have enough.
Now, the last time Winnipeg. So you know what?
Vegas will also be after this because after Carter Hart's performance in the thing, I think you try to, if you're Vegas, you try to do it.
I hate hard and fast rules when it comes to pro sports. Like, for example, if you give up the best player in a trade, you lost the trade. Pierre-Luc Dubois was clearly the best player in the trade between Winnipeg and LA. They got 4 roster players back.
No.
Or 3 roster players back. They did really well. And they rode that to, I'm pretty sure, a President's Trophy. Mm-hmm. They rode it to a couple really good seasons. If you were able to do that with Florida, great. I just don't think Florida's front office is the same as LA's previous front office that made that deal. Case in point, Bill Zito is sitting on a porch right now looking at a Stanley Cup ring on each finger. And Rob Blake, I think, took a lesser role with, was it Nashville? I think Rob Blake was the one who made that Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Yeah, he's in Nashville's front office now. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like,
by the way, Jamie Langenbrunner is joining Chris McFarland in Nashville. That was just announced while the show is happening. So interesting.
Yeah, that was rumored. That's a really interesting front office.
Where does Hellebuyck play next season?
I think it's be Vegas or Florida. And I think
I'll bet on Florida. But
can
Vegas is interesting as hell.
So the question to me is, where does Bobrovsky end up? And boy, it'd be fun if it was Edmonton. I know it won't be, but boy, that'd be cool.
Can Edmonton get Hellebuyck?
I think from what Dreg said, he wants to be traded south of the border.
Okay, so it's not going to be him, but I've said this
why is that with everybody?
I've said this to a couple years now.
I mean, the American team, the American Olympic team had a devastating effect on American players in Canada.
Fellas, I think there might have been some tampering.
Yeah.
We've been saying this for a couple years now. One of these days, a top 20 goalie in this league is going to go, you know what? I'm just going to go win a cup in Edmonton. Like, you're going to decide to win a Stanley Cup, and no one's made that decision yet. No one's decided to win a cup. You're going to win a cup. You're going to the final, man. Like, I think you could have a disappointing year and finish in the Final Four. And no one's doing it. I'm shocked. I guess I'm not shocked because Bobrovsky seems to want to make the same decision that everyone's making. But one of these days, someone's going to be like, I'm just going to go win a cup with Connor.
I'm trying to think of other teams where Hellebuyck would make perfect sense.
I mean, there's a million of
them. Most of them.
Yeah, but it's got to be a place.
You know what I think?
Right.
New Jersey. They need.
That's interesting.
That's a
there
good
you go.
They're going to move Markstrom. And you've got Jake Allen tied up forever and ever, amen, but he's fine as a backup.
I got
whatever.
into such an argument with Drew. He's like, oh, the Leafs and Markstrom. I'm like,
No.
I'd rather stop making
The Leafs are not going to get Markstrom. Drew's just trolling you.
He,
Can't give you
100%.
Give it
Another
yeah.
one? I think New Jersey, I think you're on to something.
That's
there.
a good pick. That's a good pick.
What about Pittsburgh?
Interesting. Very interesting. Apparently, Pittsburgh and Edmonton are talking Darnell Nurse, too. I'm curious about that. I don't know. I mean, I think they're happy with their goaltending, but if you can, I'm sure you could convince Connor Hellebuyck to want to play with Sidney Crosby for a couple of years. But if I'm him, I want the assurance that when Sid retires in a couple of years, that you're going to trade me somewhere else too. And
Well,
does that give you the best opportunity to win a cup if you're Connor?
I don't know. Like Dubas is trying to build it so they're a contender very soon, right? He's trying to bridge that
Has
era.
to.
You didn't have the better goalie against Philly
No, not at all.
or goalies.
no.
Yeah. So you know what? I don't hate that.
Utah? A lot of guys we're hearing love Utah. That's a new destination.
I like
for
how,
NHL.
but I like Utah's goalie.
Yeah.
I like
how
what
much
they have.
better does it make them? Well, or I guess you get the depth.
Could it? I mean, listen.
Vemelka's making $475 till 2030.
Maybe Vemelka's part of the trade.
Yeah, maybe you're sending him back.
I got a thought.
Yeah.
And you know, we always go here. San Jose's got one. They need two. But Askarov is not going to be thrilled in his last year of his deal if you go get Connor Hellebuyck.
What?
Yeah, isn't that the reason you have him?
Yeah, well,
Because
you want
of
him to
the
be the starter,
situation.
right? But he's but he hasn't done it yet, Jesse. It's been 2 of those 3 years, and he hasn't established himself.
So
he had a good year, but
The reason you have him is the situation in Nashville.
That's what
where
I'm
he
saying.
didn't want to be behind UC Saros. So I don't know if that's
he had an 884 in 47 games. At a certain point in San Jose, you have to say, okay, well, that's awesome, but you haven't shown us yet.
Oh, wow.
Sorry that you're upset about it, but come in and take the net then.
Right. You do have to take the damn net.
They've given him an opportunity. They have. Now, their defense is ass.
Do the Panthers care about getting old?
No.
Like,
No.
you might be able to win a cup with Hellebuyck. You know what? You can win one with Bob. You've done it twice.
Yeah.
And
But at that money, can they do it?
You gave the deal to Bennett. You gave the deal to Marchand. You gave the deal to everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know who we should have thrown into the package to Winnipeg is potentially Carter Verhaeghe. But no, he has trade protection and he's not going to go.
No.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah.
I think Bob stays. I think Bob stays.
Okay.
The way more exciting outcome is he doesn't, but
Carter
I
Hart,
think he
Connor
stays.
Hellebuyck, especially, you know, because like Mitch got a lot of shit for how his performance was always in late series. And until the finals, he was awesome in late series. Connor Hellebuyck also gets a lot of shit about his performance in the playoffs. So having him going to Vegas and with a great defense, I mean, that's a better defense than even the 2017 Jets had, who lost to Vegas.
You're not going to be scoring a lot of goals against the Vegas Golden Knights.
No, you're not.
People forget like a large reason why Bruce Cassidy was fired, besides the fact that he lost the room. He probably wouldn't have lost the room if they ever stopped a puck, which they didn't do all season long. They didn't stop a puck, no matter who was in net.
Mm-hmm.
And they wouldn't have fired the coach because they would have been in a way stronger. They wouldn't have been on the verge of missing the playoffs if they stopped the puck at any point during the regular season.
Yeah,
which they didn't.
On the Winnipeg Jets thing, it looks like Jonathan Toews is going to retire or announce his retirement today. Nobody's really surprised by that. He didn't play great last year, but I respect the fact that he came back.
Yep.
Last thing, do we have time for the 2-minute Kelly McCrimmon rant about why they're so great?
Yep.
Because I need to play this clip. It has to make it into the show, and then I got to get your responses, and then we will wrap up.
All right.
Has to happen.
Steve's going to be upset.
Go ahead, Kelly
I think
McCrimmon.
people have a hard time explaining why we win as much as we do. We've been to the Stanley Cup Finals 3 times in 9 years, and it's interesting. We went in 2018, 2023, 2026. And what that tells you is that's 3 completely different teams. You know, you've heard it all the way through those 9 years, the expansion rules were so favorable. Well, Seattle Kraken had the same expansion rules, right?
No, they
and
didn't.
everybody says, oh, well, everybody wised up because of how well Vegas did. Well, I would argue that Seattle had almost 3 years to get ready for expansion. We had 11 months. When
Valid.
Seattle did expansion, the cap pressure across the NHL was completely different than it was when we did expansion.
Valid.
You know, some people like to explain, you know, the first part of our history based on that. Then people think it's because we had Mark Stone get back surgery just for fun in February, right? For me, it's jealousy, and it's people don't want to are uncomfortable admitting that we've done a hell of a job. That's what I honestly think, Chris. Players love playing here. You talked to our players yesterday. Our players love playing here. Jack made the point there wouldn't be a player in the NHL that had Vegas on their no trade list. So the organization treats their players fantastic. The organization gives our players every resource to be the best that they can be as a person and as a player. And it's a great city to live in, as you all know. It's easy out here with with traffic, lifestyle, all of those things that go into it. But all those players would tell you the number one thing is they have a chance to win. They have a chance to win. So when you hear that a person from another organization is interested in coming to Vegas, the first reason they're interested in coming to Vegas is because we win. That's why they want to come to Vegas. Because if that wasn't the case, you can go back in the history of tax-free states and sunny locations of some teams that struggled for years and years and years that nobody wanted to go to. So first and foremost, people come here because we try to win. They like being on teams that try to win. There's players in the NHL that are on teams that I don't think the players are confident the team will win. So that's that for me is how I see it.
Can we start over, and I'll just cut you off? Let's start over. Trust me on this one.
I think people have a hard time explaining why we win as much as we do.
Pause.
We've been to the Stanley.
What are you talking about? People have a hard time explaining how the Vegas Golden Knights win? What are you talking about? What are you blathering on about? Everything from the rest of the clip. What people have a hard time explaining that the Vegas Golden Knights are in on everything, and everyone says that they're in on everything. They're full of good players. People want to play for them because they win. He's going through their resume that is publicly available and everyone knows. It's not 2017 anymore. It's not 2018 anymore. This isn't the team where Marc-Andre Fleury has to bail you out every night and James Neal's the only one scoring. Well, James Neal and William Carlson.
That's right.
Crap.
James Neal.
Yeah, James Neal's the real deal is getting both goals in your debut. It was a 2-1 victory, I believe. Yeah. He gets both goals. And who is this guy from Columbus who... People have a hard time explaining. What are you talking about? It's delusional. And I talked about this with Eichel's quotes. No team in recent memory has ever been more arrogant in defeat. You lost. You lost, eh? And he's doing everything, and his body language is very telling. Dead into the camera and dead at the reporters. The whole time, and then he looks down and he goes, I just think it's jealousy. The reason you look down is that's complete bullshit. Vegas does so many things well, and everyone gives them credit for doing so many things well. In terms of the Mark Stone cap manipulation that you're talking about, yeah, some people have a problem with it, but it's nothing that other teams haven't done before. Look at Tampa. Tampa's just doing whatever they can within the rules. And then during the cup parade, which was really a cup regatta, Nikita Kucherov is on a boat wearing a shirt that says $17 million over the cap. Mm-hmm. Like, they know what they're doing, right? And you're not the first team to do that, and you're not going to be the last. You're just the latest one in a list of smart teams to do that and win a Stanley Cup with it. You're in on every trade. You've done a lot of good things. People also hate you for completely legitimate non-hockey related reasons. And no one on Vegas will admit that. And that's why I don't want to hear from anyone on Vegas. Eichel talking about, no one's on the, Vegas isn't on anyone's do not trade list. And people have a hard time. They're talking out of their ass because they know exactly what we're talking about. And I think no matter what their bluster is, they've had a couple restless nights about it.
You think so?
Even though they went out and they did it, Even though they went out and they did it, I think part of them has still had a couple restless
I don't
nights.
think they give a shit.
Probably don't. I think the majority of them, they've had more than a couple nights.
Yep.
But I think every now and then, even if they can't admit it to themselves, they know exactly why we don't like them. The Vegas Golden Knights and Kelly McCrimmon act like they're the first ever team to be good at hockey. And I got to tell you, you're not. Oh, you're a Leaf fan and the Leafs suck. Yeah. Okay, fine. Tampa won without the entire world hating them. And when they did hate them, it's because of the cap shenanigans. Who hated Colorado? Who hated
probably Vegas.
Probably Vegas. Who hated the 2023 Golden Knights? Well, people said, yeah, they said the same thing about Tampa. This is another thing. You won a few years ago, and you point this out. You knew it. You won a few years ago. The vitriol towards the 2023 Golden Knights was nowhere near the vitriol towards the 2026 Golden Knights. What changed?
Well, we know. We know.
You disingenuous, arrogant dork.
But their fans will love that. And that's what he's doing. He's playing to the fans. You know that.
Okay.
He doesn't care about you. He doesn't want you to like him.
Okay, but the only conversations I want to be a part of are the honest ones.
Okay.
And Kelly McCrimmon is
You're going to have a hard time in hockey.
Yeah, I know. And that's why it's our job to come on here and be like, well, you're a liar.
Right.
And I'm not interested in hearing from Jack Eichel. I'm not interested in hearing from Kelly McCrimmon. I'm not interested in hearing from anyone on the Vegas Golden Knights until they are willing to have an open and honest conversation about why people don't like them. It's not because they're good at hockey. You are not the first ever good hockey team. Relax.
Jesse, does that mean we can't? I guess we're talking about 31 teams next year.
Do not talk about lists.
Do not talk about lists.
No, I didn't say don't talk
It's going to be
about
the
them.
Arizona arena situation again.
Yeah, when Steve used to walk out and leave when we talked about the Coyotes getting a new arena.
Well, because that was boring.
It was boring. That's true. At least the Golden Knights are interesting. Got to give them that. Very quickly, Steve, because we got to go. You went to the World Cup, Ghana versus Panama, and you said it changed your brain chemistry. Go, very quick.
It completely changed my brain chemistry. Like I was on the verge of tears, like after the anthems, just the Ghana fans losing their minds, the Panama fans losing their minds. It was honestly life-changing as a hockey fan, right? So this is not going to be news to a lot of you, but as a hockey fan, I was at a sporting event where absolutely every single person in the stands had blood in their veins. No one shut up for the entire game. It was louder. Hockey has loud pops, but it was loud throughout. And every single time any team got a scoring chance, we make fun of soccer for being low scoring. It was 1-0. Every single time the ball got close to either net, it was deafening in the building. YouTube invited me there. And I'm so glad that they invited me there. It was a great experience. But I think it's going to make my YouTube videos better. It changed my perception of sports. It changed my perception of sports are fun, which is our thing up there at the top. A World Cup game is unlike anything I've ever seen before. And I've been fortunate enough to see some pretty special games across sports. And it was Panama and Ghana. And I got news for you. That game wasn't played in either of those places. It was electric. It was electric on the way to the game. It was electric during the game. It was electric after the game. That was a show and a performance unlike anything I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm throwing the Olympics into that. I'm honest, like, this is going to sound so weird, but like my life as a sports fan, it's a little bit of BC and AD after seeing that game.
That's great.
It's going to completely change how I operate going forward.
There you go. Well, Steve Dangle, big Golden Knights guy after seeing the World Cup. Jesse, let's fire that extra.
Big Ghana guy.
And
We
Jesse,
get to the Kessel Ring trade on Monday.
yeah, we can. Of the things, though, the Kessel.
about it, didn't we?
No, well, we referenced it briefly. Jesse did a great video on it. If you
No,
want.
I want to talk about how Mike Greer traded a paperclip for Michael Kesselring, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we will get there. Damn straight, Jesse. Unless the Leafs make another trade, then we won't. Sorry.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.